Hello, guys. So, we'll be waiting for 5 minutes so that everyone can join. Okay, we have 13 people now. Okay, so we have put a link to a Google form. You can drop all your questions in the form, and don't worry, it is an anonymous form, so none of your identity will be revealed. Feel free to ask the questions there. Okay, so till everyone joins, I request you all to put on scale of 0 to 10. Just tell us how excited you are for this event. Come on, guys. Great. Come on, we're waiting for more responses from you. I can see a lot of tens. That's good. Even we are excited for this event. Okay, so I guess there are 20 people with us. So, hello, folks. Wishing you all a very happy Pride Month. I am Madhura Patil, Vice President of GirlUp Ahsaas. I welcome you all to this panel discussion on life of a queer person. So, what is GirlUp Ahsaas? It is an Indian club under the initiative of GirlUp campaign by UN Foundation, which basically focuses on education of women, girls, making them realize what they are capable of and bringing the gender equality. So before we start with the event, we have planned a small picture quiz for you all. I hope you're excited for that. So I'd like to invite my teammate Rena to explain all the rules and start with the picture quiz.
Hi everyone. So, to break the ice and get this event forward, we have a small picture quiz planned for all of you. I hope everyone will actively participate and give your answers. So, some of the instructions for this quiz is you will be shown a picture on the screen and you will have to write your answer in the chat box, which is the comment section. You can put your answers in there. You're not allowed to answer more than once. Each picture will be shown for 10 seconds, after which you'll be given 5 seconds to answer the same. And you will have to take the screenshot of your YouTube username. Result by the organizing team will be final. So let's begin with the quiz. The first question we have is to guess the person who is in this picture. Let's see how many of you can guess who is this personality. Everyone has 10 seconds to guess. Okay, so let's see if any answers are coming up. So let's look at the answer now. The personality shown in this picture is Manjama Jogati, Karnataka's transgender dancer who received the Padma Shri award for her contribution to folk dance. And so I see nobody has given the answer yet, I guess. But let's go to the next question. So hopefully for the next question, you guys will know the answer. So this question is guess the flag. The flag that is shown in the picture. Let's see how many of you know what this flag represents. Come on, guys, put your answers in the chat, in the comment section, in the chat box. You have 10 seconds to answer. Anyone who's coming up with the answer? Let's see. Okay, I think there are no answers in chat box. Are you sure, everyone? Let's see. Somebody can try. Okay, Vaishnav says rainbow flag. So this represents one sector of the LGBTQI community. So just try. You're close, but like try to see the picture. Okay, let's move on to the answer. So this is the flag for the gay community of the LGBTQIA community. And gay is a term that primarily refers to a homosexual person or the trait of being homosexual in a male. Yes, I think Sandali Srivastava, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but yeah, you've given the right answer. So now we have the next question. The next question is to guess the personality in this picture. Let's see if any of you can guess who is this person. Give the correct answer in the 10 seconds. Guys, feel free to answer. The comment section is all yours, so feel free to put in your answers. Yes, I think Vrinda has given an answer, and she says Manabhi Bandyopodai. Yes, which is the right answer. So let's go on to the next slide. So Vrinda here has given the right answer. So yes, it is Manabi Bandyapodai, who is the first PhD professor in India who accepts her identity as a transgender person. Now we look at the next question. So next question is again to guess the personality in this picture. Some of you might know, some of you might not, but let's see who gets it right first. Who is this personality that we're showing in this picture? Again, everyone answer in the comment box. Come on, everyone, time is running out. So 10 seconds. Just guess who is this person. I guess this is slightly a harder one. So any answers? Any answers? Yogesh has given us an answer, but okay, let's go to the next slide and see the answer. So this is Dinesh Kumar Makhan Lal Bhugra, who's a gay professor of mental health and diversity at the Institute of Psychiatry at King's College London. Yes, Vaishnav has given us the right answer. That's great, Vaishnav. Good job. That's the right answer. Now we move on to our next question. Okay, so again, this is to guess the personality in the picture. It's a very famous personality. I'm sure some of you might know who it is. Let's see who gets the right answer first. So come on, everyone, answer in the comment box. 10 seconds running out. So guess the personality. Yes, so Vrinda and Vaishnav has given us the answer. That's great. That's amazing, guys. Good job. So we go to the next slide. And just as Vrinda, Vaishnav, and Yogesh has also given us the answer now, all of you are right. It is, in fact, Shonali Bose, who is an Indian bisexual film director, writer, and film producer. So she has won multiple awards, including the National Film Award, Bridgestone Narrative Award, etc. So she is definitely a famous personality. Now we have the next question. Next question is to guess the flag. The flag that is shown in this picture. guess it. Guess which part of the community it belongs to. Let's see who gets the answer right first. Come on, everyone, put in your answers in the comments box. We're waiting. Yes, so Vaishnav has given us an answer. That is, let's go to the next slide. Sayali has also given us an answer. Yes, so it is in fact Vaishnav and Sayali. You guys are right. It is the flag for the intersex community of the LGBTQI community. And intersex people are individuals born with any of several sex characteristics, including chromosome patterns, gonads, or genitals, that, according to the UN, do not fit typical binary notions of female or male bodies. Yes, Ashavari, Sayali, and Vaishnav, all of you are right. That is the right answer. We have the next question. Okay, last but definitely not the least, this is the final question for this quiz. Let's see who can guess the right answer for the last question. Guess the personality in the picture. So, everyone, give it a try. This is your last chance. Yes, so Vaishnav has given us an answer. Anybody else? Anybody else giving us an answer? Anybody else with the answer? So, Vaishnav has given us one. Okay, so let's go to the next slide and see if Vaishnav's answer is correct. Yes, it is indeed correct. Aryan Pasha, who is an Indian lawyer and bodybuilder, who is known for being the first trans man bodybuilder of India. So, yes, Vaishnav, you were right. Good job. So, that's the end of our picture quiz. Thank you, everyone, for playing. Many of you got the right answers. So, Yogesh, Vaishnav, all of you, Vrinda, all of you played really well. Thank you so much for being interactive and giving us many right answers. So, that's the end. Thank you. Now I give the podium to Vichika.
Hey guys, so आगे बढ़ने से पहले, what is Pride Month? Pride Month is an entire month dedicated to the uplifting of LGBTQ voices, celebration of the LGBTQ culture, and the support of LGBTQ rights. Throughout the month of June, there are parades, protests, drag performances, and celebrations of the life for members of the community throughout the world. It is a celebration of all that the LGBTQ community has achieved over the years. But why is it called the Pride Month? The suggestion to call the movement Pride was brought up by L. Craig in 2015. It said, a lot of people were very repressed. They were conflicted internally and did not know how to come out and be proud. That is how the movement was most useful, because they thought, maybe I should be proud. लेकिन ये जून में क्यों होता है? We celebrate in June to coincide with the catalyst of the gay liberation movement, that was the Stonewall Uprising. In the early morning hours of June 28, 1969, police raided a popular gay bar in New York's West Village, the Stonewall Inn. This was commonplace for the time, but on this particular evening, the patrons of the bar fought back, starting the Stonewall riots, which went on for days. But also, it is important that we don't limit ourselves to just one month. Pride Month should be every month. Now, I would like to give the podium to Rana.
Now I'd like to introduce our esteemed panel for today. First up, we have Zoya Thomas Lobo. She's India's first transgender photojournalist and Afternoon Voice's Best Photojournalist Award winner from Mumbai, Maharashtra. She was also featured in Google. Next, we have Chitajit Mitra. He is a queer translator, writer, and editor from Allahabad, Uttar Pradesh. He is a strong proponent of constitutional values and is associated with Resistive Alliance for Queer Solidarity, which focuses on mental health, sexuality, and gender. Next, we have Rishabh Bhandari. He is a practicing advocate at the Punjab and Haryana High Court. He has been a part of internships, moot courts, debate competition, and has also acted as an speaker at a number of seminars, webinars, and conferences organized by different organizations. He is also the founder of the legal website Blog de Lex Doctrum and managing partner of his law firm NNB Legal Associates and Consultants. Next, we have Dr. Amrit Singh. He is a doctor by profession who is serving in Government Medical Hospital, Amritsar, Punjab, and an LGBTQIA plus ally who loves to tell people about homosexuality. Last but definitely not the least, we have Nitish Mahajan. He is a law student and president of GirlUp Ahsaas, an LGBTQIA plus ally who loves to educate people about the community through social media. He raised his voice and wrote about the issues like adoption rights for transgenders and Article 19 and LGBTQ community through various research papers published in national and international journals, for which he received a letter of recommendation from the Indian National Law Review. He is also a part of many NGOs that work for LGBTQIA plus members. He is an interest he has an interest in corporate law and international law. That's our esteemed panel of judges for today's panel discussion. Now I give the podium to Madhura.
Okay, so we have an amazing panelist with us today for the event. So we'll start our discussion by just first learning about the term LGBTQ. I'm sure many of you have heard it many times. That is an umbrella term used to refer the community as a whole. So today we have with us Mr. Chittajit, who would be going through the abbreviation and describe each term for us. Hello, sir.
Hello. So the term LGBTQIA plus is an acronym, and each letter denotes a section of the community. Uh, I'll try to explain it in both Hindi and English because uh, even though in English it is easier to find the meaning of these words, in Hindi it is quite difficult, or in other regional languages. So the L stands for lesbian. लेस्बियन वो औरतें होती हैं जो औरतों के प्रति आकर्षण फील करती हैं दैट रोमांटिकली और सेक्सुअली women who feel sexually attracted towards women or romantically attracted towards women are known as lesbians. The second letter is G. It stands for gay. Uh, it is for men who are sexually attracted or romantically attracted or both towards men. गे उन पुरुषों को कहा जाता है जो सेक्सुअली या रोमांटिकली दूसरे पुरुषों की तरफ आकर्षित होते हैं. उसके बाद आता है बी. बाइसेक्सुअल व्यक्ति वो होते हैं जो एक से ज्यादा जेंडर के प्रति लोगों की तरफ आकर्षित होते हैं. बाइसेक्सुअल पीपल आर दोज पीपल हु आर अट्रैक्टेड टुवर्ड्स more than one kind of people towards who are more than one kind of gender. फिर आता है टी. ट्रांसजेंडर. वो ऐसे व्यक्ति होते हैं जिन्हें जो बचपन में उन्हें जो जेंडर दिया जाता है, मतलब कि जब भी बच्चा पैदा होता है तो डॉक्टर कहता है कि ना बधाई हो बेटा हुआ या बेटी हुई, तो वो आपको असाइन किया गया है, उससे वो अग्री नहीं करते. हाँ, उन्हें ट्रांसजेंडर कहा जाता है. So transgender people are those people who don't agree with the gender that was assigned to them at birth. फिर आता है क्यू. क्वेयर. वो एक अम्ब्रेला टर्म है. वो एक ऐसा शब्द है जो सभी तरह के लोगों को जो हेट्रोसेक्सुअल नहीं है. हेट्रोसेक्सुअल मतलब वो लोग जो लोग अपने से विपरीत जो जेंडर है उनके प्रति आकर्षित होते हैं. हाँ, उन सभी लोगों के अलावा जो लोग हैं उन सबको क्वेयर में इंक्लूड किया था. क्वेयर पीपल आर दोज पीपल हु आर नॉट cisgender and or heterosexual. आई का मतलब है इंटरसेक्स. इंटरसेक्स वो व्यक्ति होते हैं जो पैदा होते वक्त उनके प्राइवेट पार्ट्स देख के ये डिफाइन नहीं किया जा सकता कि वो मेल होंगे या फीमेल होंगे. Intersex people are those people whose private parts are ambiguous and it can't be decided whether they are male or female on their birth. ए का अर्थ है एसेक्सुअल, मतलब ऐसे लोग जो किसी भी प्रकार का सेक्सुअल अट्रैक्शन किसी भी व्यक्ति की तरफ फील नहीं करते. इसके अंदर और भी तरीके के लेयर्स हैं, उसकी बात हम बाद में कर सकते हैं. Asexual people are those people who don't feel sexually attracted towards any kind of person. It has some layers to it. There can be people who feel some things for some people, and that can be dwelled into later. The plus sign stands for people who are not included in these letters but are part of the queer community. Uh, जो प्लस साइन है लास्ट में वो उन लोगों को दिखाता है जो इन लेटर्स में फिट नहीं बैठते हैं बट बाकी क्वेयर कम्युनिटी में उनको माना जाता है. थैंक यू. Madhura, back to you. वाइल वी आर हियर, मैं दो और टर्म एक्सप्लेन कर देना चाहता हूँ. वो है जेंडर और सेक्सुअलिटी. वो हम सुनते ही आते हैं, जगह जगह सुनाई देता है, बट उसका मतलब क्या होता है और उसको मैं सिंपल शब्दों में समझा देता हूँ. जेंडर है वो चीज जो आप खुद के लिए फील करते हैं. ठीक, आप कैसे खुद को मानते हैं, वो है जेंडर. और सेक्सुअलिटी है आप दूसरों के प्रति क्या फील करते हैं, वो आपका सेक्सुअलिटी डिफाइन करेगा. Gender is basically a social construct which is defined as something that you feel from within for yourself. And sexuality, on the other hand, is something that you feel for others. Rana, back to you.
Okay, so the next thing would be what is the difference between gender identity and sexual orientation?
So, as I explained earlier, gender identity is defined by what do you feel about yourself? How do you want to be? And that is why under the gender umbrella, people who don't conform to the binary structure that the society has given them, कि आपको either you have to be a male or a female, they don't agree with it, and hence they try to define or expand the definition of gender itself. मतलब कि जेंडर आइडेंटिटी वो होता है कि जो समाज ने आपको कहा है कि आपको या तो महिला होना है या तो आपका पुरुष होना है. उसके अलावा भी क्या हो सकता है, क्या आप खुद के लिए फील कर रहे हो, उसे जेंडर आइडेंटिटी कहा जाता है. महिला या पुरुष फील करना भी जेंडर आइडेंटिटी, पर उसके अलावा भी चीजें जो आप फील कर सकते हैं वो भी जेंडर आइडेंटिटी में आता है. सेक्सुअलिटी वो चीज है जो आप दूसरों के लिए फील करें. What you feel about others. It can be a romantic connection or a sexual connection or both or neither. That is how sexuality is defined. Thank you.
All right, so one more question is what are the importance of pronouns? Just
So, for many people, it has been a debate whether pronouns are something to be taken seriously. But imagine that your own identity, your own self is being denied. People are continuously labeling you something that you aren't. That is why pronouns are important. When a person has explicitly told that their pronouns are something that is that you might not even agree with, but the person has explicitly told you about it, that is something that we should actually respect as human beings. प्रोनाउन एक ऐसी चीज है जो अ, वैसे तो अंग्रेजी में ज्यादा देखने को मिलता है। हमारे हिंदी में जो वर्ब होता है, क्रिया होती है, वो जेंडर के बेसिस पे होता है। तो जाता है, जाती है। हाँ, इससे आपका जेंडर डिफाइन होगा। उसकी जगह अगर किसी व्यक्ति के लिए जाते हैं का इस्तेमाल किया जाए, विच इज जेंडर न्यूट्रल, तो कोई दिक्कत की बात नहीं है। इसीलिए प्रोनाउन इसलिए इंपॉर्टेंट होता है क्योंकि वो लोगों को उनके जो वजूद है, उसको जो उन्होंने वो अपने लिए खुद के लिए जो मानते हैं, उसको वो अफर्म करते हैं, उसको वो लोगों के सामने रखते हैं कि मैं ये हूं, मुझे इसी तरीके से माना जाए। और ये मैं मानता हूं कि एक इंसान होने के नाते एक बेसिक डिसेंसी का मामला है कि आप उसको माने। थैंक यू।
Okay, thank you for that answer, Mr. Chitajit. So now we move on to the next part of our panel discussion. And so, as we all know, the struggles faced by the LGBTQI community have been constantly brought to light by multiple human rights activists, social influencers, and allies of the community. So, whether it be fighting against the violence, conventional therapy, employment discrimination, or even basic human rights, the community has been neglected of them. So, talking about employment discrimination, Zoya ma'am, have you ever faced a situation where you were denied of work because of your identity?
Uh, I can say recently when I was there, like मैं जब एक organization के साथ अभी recently जब मैं जुड़ी थी, there's as everyone know myself Zoya. I'm really sorry, I didn't give my introduction. Myself Zoya. I'm India's first trans photo journalist. एंड मैं अभी रिसेंटली एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को लाइक एक कंसल्ट के साथ काम पे लगी थी जॉब के लिए। एक कंपनी था, मराठी न्यूज चैनल था, एंड सीरियसली टेलिंग यू इट वाज माय वेरी वेल एक्सपीरियंस हुआ है, क्योंकि मैंने कहीं पे ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस फेस नहीं किया। बहुत अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस था। एवरीवन वर वेरी वेल विथ मी, दे वर सो केयरिंग, दे वर सो यू नो इमोशनली हैंडलिंग में, लाइक मेरा बहुत अच्छा सपोर्ट दिया उन्होंने। मुझे कुछ समझता नहीं था, मुझे गाइड करते थे। अगर मैं कोई चीज उनको पर्टिकुलरली रेगुलरली पूछ रही थी तो मुझे बहुत गाइड एंड सपोर्ट करते थे। बट यस, कई जगहों पे हमारे ट्रांस कम्युनिटी को ये इश्यूज फेस करने पड़ते हैं, क्योंकि देखिए आज के टाइम पे इस सोसाइटी में कई ऐसे ट्रांसजेंडर्स है जो पढ़े लिखे हैं, जो ग्रेजुएट लेवल पे है, but still they are on roads or they are into sex work, they are into local trains, they are begging. Why they are begging, why they are on the streets, why they are in the local trains, or why they are into sex work? Just because of our society. Our society or our families have not accepted us in that proper way. If I see today's debate is there where I have to mention, I have to talk something, I would seriously like to share few things where in this society you can see there is a school for deaf and dumb, there is a school for a handicapped person, mentally with a handicapped person, but then there is no somewhere a thing where I can see a trans person or a LGBTQI person can get a proper education. You know, if I go to say a gay person is there or a lesbian person, they might get an education because they will hide themselves and they'll stay in their houses with their family and they will try to continue their education. But what about the trans? When trans person gets that hatred from the family, and when the family starts hating, society starts hating, and they don't have any occupation, they don't have any chance to do something. So that's why वो लोग आज रोड्स एंड सिग्नल पे है। हम मस्त हमारी ऑडी में या मर्सिडीज में ट्रेवल करते हैं, जब कोई ट्रांस आता है आपके गाड़ी पे, आप बहुत प्यार से मेरा अपना ग्लास डाउन करके उन्हें 10 रुपए तो दे देते हो। पर कभी आपने ये सोचा है कि उस ट्रांस को पूछने के लिए आप जॉब क्यों नहीं कर रहे? आइए हम आपको हमारे कंसल्टेंसी में आपके लिए एक रिप्लेसमेंट देंगे, हम आपको जॉब देंगे। देर आर ट्रांस हु आर वेरी वेल मतलब बहुत अच्छी एक्टिंग कर सकते हैं, बहुत ऐसे ट्रांस है जो बहुत अच्छी कला करते हैं, कलाकार है, कोई सिंगर है, कोई डांसर है। बट आज क्या हो रहा है, आज हमारी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में पुरुषों को ट्रांस बना के रिप्रेजेंट किया जा रहा है। तो इन चीजों के लिए भी आवाज उठानी जरूरी है। क्यों वो लोग ही 2 लाख और 4 लाख का कार्ड बना सकते हैं? Trans can also afford making those cards. They can also do something. When a choreographer can choreograph a male and a female, then why cannot he choreograph a trans person and give them an opportunity? Why can a trans cannot give her screen test and do an acting in films? मैंने अक्सर देखा है, मैंने इन चीजों को गौर किया है। सॉरी, योर गुड नेम, आई फॉरगॉट इन योर नेम। हेलो, हेलो, योर गुड नेम?
Rena.
Rena. I'm really sorry if I'm getting some points in between, but these points are to be discussed. And, like, these people should focus on these things. People always say that हम मांगने जाते तो बोलते आप काम क्यों नहीं करते, जब हम काम मांगने आते तो आप 10 रुपया हाथ में देते हो और बोलते हो आप चले जाओ। We also have hands and legs, we are also that much knowledgeable. At least we are that capable where we can gain general knowledge and we can understand and we can do something. We want to earn the prosperity, we want to earn that money in a gentle way, not in a regretting way. Because when we also beg in the trains or in the streets now, people give us, but they don't give us in a gentle way, they give us in a rude way, but they don't show that rudeness. That rudeness is hidden inside them. I have faced so many issues in my life. Today, being India's first trans photojournalist, also still sometimes I also have to, fight for my assignment. Sometimes I also don't have assignments, so I'm also collecting arms in the local train. So I see people how they behave with me in the train. I've seen especially females how those females behave with me in the train. Sometimes females will see me, if their mask is this much, as the moment they will see the trans person came clapping, their mask will go this much up. What is this? What kind of respect they give us? One side they say transgenders are holistic for them. They want transgenders blessings. They want transgenders to remove their nazar and everything, to take the evil eye away. But you all will do that same nonsense for those transgenders. Looking at them, you all will put your mask up. This is not the thing. You all will say, don't touch us. No, 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 don't touch us. As if we are born with two horns and we are Satan. That's wrong. So we need to start more sensitizing. There should be more videos, there should be more reels, there should be more ads where people will start getting sensitized. I have started one thing from now onwards in the local trains when I go to collect arm in the trains. If I observe a kid is asking a parent that who is she, that time I'll stop there and I'll tell that parent to educate that kid at that moment and tell her that who I am, what I am. I'll do that thing because that kid should know, because that kids are teachers are our parents only. Our first teachers are our parents, because from them only we will get to know that what is happening around. From a parent only we get to know this is boy, this is girl, this is trans. But if the parent won't teach a kid that who is trans, who is lesbian, who is a gay, how they will get to know? Because it's not mentioned here and there, you know. So there are lots of issues where trans people face problems. And if I come towards the washroom part for trans people in any other places, we don't say that build a separate washroom for us. We are happy if you all give us a handicap washroom with a logo where it says this a trans person can also use this, or LGBTQI community person can use this washroom. That is also enough for us. But they should start something. They should get those opportunities. Why in North or why in South trans people are progressing? Why can't my trans people can progress in Maharashtra? And I will see that, I will try my level best how I can get my trans people on mainstream.
Yes, that's definitely a very insightful answer. Thank you so much for that answer. And so we talked about media, how media can be very useful in promoting the same things we're talking about. So how much do you think media is harming, or do you think media is harming or taking
Sometimes
advantage?
media harms sometimes due to lack of knowledge, due to lack of awareness, or due to lack of research. There was an incident happened where a person who was being dressed up as a trans, and then some sort of issue happened where that baby or a boy was been killed, and then the transgender community was been blamed just because of that, and these things were being showed through media. But lack of research can harm a trans LGBTQI community people or a trans community people through media.
Right. Okay. So one of the other major struggles faced by the community is getting adequate and equal health care. So since we have a doctor here with us today, I want to ask Dr. Amrit, as a medical professional, what are your views on the same? Are we getting equal and adequate health care
Uh,
for?
Rina, if can I ask one question to him? Is it okay?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So hi, myself Zoya. I just want to clear one thing. When you see a patient in front of you, that time, do you see that patient according to the gender, or you see that patient as a patient in front of you when that patient is on a bed or in your clinic?
Yeah, we definitely see it, them as a patient. Obviously, our only job is to save their lives.
Yes, but there are few people who I will share my experience. I have seen there are several times that few doctors, when we are dressed up as a female, we have grown our hairs, we are wearing earrings, we have pierced our nose. I have seen several times few doctors who are there who will talk in a such a way with us where in front of other patients where we feel very discriminated.
Yeah,
Don't you think, doctor, there should be a sensitization awareness made for all doctors in their colleges?
yeah, I totally agree with you, ma'am. In our books and all, there is not such a knowledge about transgender community. Like there are several issues, but yeah, that's an unfortunate thing.
Okay. So
Rina, there is always this issue is also been happened that when the time comes for the admission, like a trans person is going through a heavy fever or a trans person is met with an accident. So there is always a question in the mind of all those hospital authority that where this person should be admitted. Is this person should be admitted in the female ward, or this person should be admitted in a gents ward? What is this? You all keep yourself at a medication place. You all keep yourselves on the place of a doctor. You all keep yourself on the place of a ward boy or a nurse, and at that time you all start judging that where this person should be kept. So that is really wrong, right?
Yeah.
okay. So Dr. Amrit, just as Zoya ma'am has like brought to our notice of all the things that are happening. So of course, my initial question was also related to the same. Like, do you think that the community is getting adequate and equal healthcare? So what are your views on that?
So, as ma'am already talked, the community is definitely not getting the equal treatment in our hospitals. In our government setup, there are pre-made forms. They set genders like male, female, almost in every form. So it's not inclusive at all. But yeah, there are some recent changes like in our medical literature which are trying to include inclusivity by adding more inclusive literature.
All right. Okay. So Now, since we've discussed all of this, now we move on to the next part of our discussion. Now we have Zoya ma'am with us, and we all know that Zoya Thomas Lobo has beaten odds to become the country's first trans photojournalist. And her journey is truly an inspiring one. And now we would like ma'am to share with our audience and share with all of us her journey with us.
So, hi everyone, myself Zoya Lobo. I'm India's first trans photojournalist, and my journey, I would, as we have really little short time, and in a short time we have planned this panel discussion, so I would share in short my journey with y'all in little detail. If y'all want to know my story, y'all can type Zoya Thomas Lobo on YouTube or on Google. Y'all will get to know my stories, my articles on based on my like so my journey started during COVID pandemic as a photojournalist. Before that, I used to beg in the Mumbai local trains, collect arms for my daily livelihood. And when one fine day I was just sitting at the station, when I saw a short film called Hijra Shrap Ki Vardhan. So we are curse or we are blessings to this society. I was just going through the movie. I went through the part one of the movie and I saw there should be some slight changes. There should be little, as we say, little masala can make a vegetable little tasty, like that way. So I just got in touch with the person who made this movie and I told him, I explained him that there should be so and so changes. So he decided to make a part two of the short film. But the story was in a such a way where a trans community people can get education, so they can also get occupation in various firms. So my role was as a military soldier because my dream was to be an IS IPS in my past life, in my future. In future, I wanted to be an IS and IPS, and in my past, those dreams were there. But somehow, I was going through lots of hurdles and struggles in my life. So slowly, I used to always see guys or people used to carry DSLR cameras and all. I was very fond of it. Was very attracted towards the cameras, and so how the journey was going on and collected arms in the trains or sometimes skipped few things of myself. I skipped my house rent also for that and I collected that arm. But buying a camera was not my aim, So one fine day after Diwali, 2 days after Diwali, I was just wearing a sari in an Indian attire. I go to a shop. Shop is a very famous music instrument shop in Mumbai town. I won't take the name. So I went to that shop, and when I entered there, I asked them that I want a basic violin. The staff over there was such a rude behavior with me that they didn't entertain me. They said that we don't have a basic violin, although they were having it. And then I decided that I should go ahead somewhere and let's see how it, if ahead I get it or not. So I went ahead and I saw another shop. There I got a violin, and then from there, I purchased my violin. I went ahead. I saw a camera shop where in the shop there were second-hand cameras were displayed. So I was really very happy seeing that camera. The screen was flipping and video recording and everything. So got damn excited looking at it, but pockets were very tight at that time. However, tried to convince that guy, and I asked him that I have this much amount. Would you give me that? It was really a God's miracle that time, which happened with me. Seriously, it was a miracle where in that less amount, that fellow got ready to give me that camera, and after getting that camera, my journey was running on an auto mode. Slowly, it was going on. So as I told you, I did that short film. Our short film got 2.6 million views. That person decided to have an appreciation small event, a function. So over there, I met a person whose name was Shrinit Singh, who is the editor for College Times Education Media. It's a local YouTube and weekly newspaper. So he decided to appoint me as a journalist. I was appointed as a journalist, but was not knowing what would be my work and my designation as a journalist on field. Still, I got an I-card, I got my appointment letter, but still collecting arms in Mumbai local trains. Life was going on. So I said, I have my I-card with me. There was a rally happening for trans community rights. So I went, I clicked pictures. Over there, I met senior photographers, photojournalists. Through them, I got to know what is photojournalism. That time, I got to know that photojournalism is also a part of the journalism, is also a part of the press. So I after that decided I will also try to get into photojournalism. So slow and steady, the journey was going on back in Mumbai, local trains, collecting arms and everything. So when the lockdown came, life was really going very critical. However, was trying to manage things. And one time I was just on my way to collect my ration kit from one of the families. That time I saw there was a huge migrant labor protest happened in Bandra West in Mumbai. So that time 2 to 3 thousand migrant laborers were protesting. I ran home, I bought my camera, I clicked my pictures. So national newspapers and international agencies picked up those pictures and my pictures got published. But here on day it didn't stop. After that I decided okay, how the journey will go, how the life will go. Once only my pictures were published and no one was knowing. After that, how I would I get a newspaper? Would my photos go here and there? So my photos were going on Instagram only. But in my life, biggest achievement came when I got my first assignment from Canada for La Presse. It was an uh, I can say some Italian or some kind of language newspaper. So for that international newspaper, I was being assigned as a photographer, and that was my first assignment which I got. And then slowly, journey started, and people started knowing Zoya Lobo is India's first trans photojournalist. And the second achievement was with K Beauty. I was a face model for K Beauty with Katrina Kaif. I couldn't believe that I did my first photo shoot with Katrina Kaif. That was really exciting for me. And the third my dream billboard on YouTube. If I'm day, I was just sitting with two friends and was chilling over there. And one fellow there was little, his blazer was little with attitude kind of thing. And I just told him, dude, one day you will see me on this banners. And it's my dream. And he said that you go come true. Google made my dream come true. That day featured me on a billboard on a big platform. Like, really? Hello, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really sorry there was some network issue which happened.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
So, as I was telling you, I got featured with Google, and from that time onwards, people started knowing me and journey started. And it is my dream that if I have got a chance to feature on a billboard, even my other trans community people can also get a chance to feature one day on those billboards in all over Mumbai, all over Maharashtra, and all over India. That's it.
Okay, that's definitely a very motivating and inspiring story. Thank you for sharing that with all of us. And just one question, just one follow-up question with this. Like anytime that you felt like giving up or you didn't want to move forward, so how is it that you came over that fear or like that moment of like
See,
weakness?
in my life, as I told you that when I got that assignment with an international agency, before the getting an assignment with that international agency, also I was collecting arms in the local trains. I said, I bought camera, got into journalism. I'm not getting any assignment. I'm not getting any work. I'm seeing my other colleagues. They are working with agencies. They are getting paid. Their photos are getting published. Even if their photo is getting published, they are getting money for it and I'm not getting any opportunity. That time I decided, अरे चलो छोड़ो यार ये photography ये वो सब and let's go back in the local trains. I've been met for that only and this and that. But you know, someone has said that you keep patience, you keep faith. Patience and faith will get you one day at such a big goal in your life where you will achieve so many things which you didn't believe or which you didn't dreamed in your life. It's like that, you know. And that patience and that faith brought me up today where I am with that. came, those things came in my life. And now also in my life, when I go depressed or, very weak and low, I try to listen motivational videos. I see motivational videos and, motivational songs which boost up me a lot. And I always meditate. I try to meditate towards the sea because, a sea is in a such a way where the sea takes all the rubbish what we throw in the sea, takes it at a time inside. So we inhale all like that. If sea is taking all the things inside, so I try to inhale all the positive energy. And when sea throws out all the kachra, like that way, I exhale all my negative energy and I say that all the negative energy is banished away from me. All those negative thoughts which are there in my mind are banished and like I'm free and I can work hard and work positively with that.
Okay, thank you so much. Wonderful for that wonderful answer. So now we all know about the inspiring and lovely journey of Zoya ma'am. And with this, now we move on to the next segment of our panel discussion. Now I call upon Dia to move forward with it.
Hi, I'm Thea, and we have a common list of stereotypes and myths that I'd like to ask our panelists, और आप हमें बता सकते हैं if that's a myth or not. The first, we'll start with Zoya ma'am, and then Chitrajit sir, and then we'll go with Amrit sir. So ma'am, first questions for you. Trans people kidnap kids and make them like them. What do you have to say?
It's totally nonsense. It's totally a myth. This has been spread by the society people because see, once at one place, society people want us to bless them. One side they want our ashirwad. One side they will say remove our nazar. Then why would we kidnap the kid? When we see a kid, we pamper that kid as our own kid. And why would we kidnap that kid? This is a totally scrap and a myth spread by the society people.
Yes, ma'am. The next one. All trans people are mentally ill.
If we are mentally ill, then are they mentally stable?
Yes, ma'am. Moving on. All transgender women are drag queens.
Mm, I can say not everyone, rare,
Okay,
rare
ma'am.
of them.
Yes, ma'am. That's the last question. Thank you. Now moving on to Chitrajit sir. Um, the first one is you can't be queer and religious.
So religion is a very personal thing, uh, just like your sexuality or your gender. So to say that you can't be religious or you have to leave your religion to be queer is something that doesn't fit. It isn't logical.
Uh,
Yeah.
Chitrajit sir, I just want to say something.
Please.
Yes, I want to say that for past 11 years, I have hided myself that I belong to a Christian family. I belong to a Christian family. I'm from a Christian faith. But you know what? Slowly, now I can see there are Christian churches which are coming ahead and helping transgenders to get them on the mainstream. And due to those people from the church, the priests and the nuns, they helped me to get me back into my path. You know, today I can go with guts inside the church. I can sit and I can pray. You know, why people hide their faith, why trans people or queer people hide their faith just because this society where they'll make their fun and all. Society will stop them. Are you are so you cannot go here, you are so that's why people feel like that. Chitrajit, so you can go ahead.
Sure. तो एक चीज समझनी चाहिए पहले तो कि ऐसा जब भी धर्म और क्वेयरनेस की बात आती है तो कुछ लोग खड़े हो जाते हैं जो खुद को धर्म का ठेकेदार बता के उसको कहते हैं कि इसमें ये है वो है, पर कहीं भी ये एटलीस्ट एक डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री में ये कहीं नहीं है कि कोई एक व्यक्ति डिसाइड करेगा कि कोई कौन सा धर्म मानेगा या मान सकते हैं। तो कोई किसी भी धर्म में जाना चाहे या है और उनकी मान्यता को मानना चाहे वो उनका विषय है और उसका क्वेयरनेस के साथ कोई सीधा ताल्लुकात नहीं है। वो उनके ऊपर है, वो मानेंगे वो नहीं मानेंगे। तो इस पे कोई
And
लॉजिकल नहीं। यस।
and you know what? If they say that queer people cannot worship or queer people cannot do this, that, or things, then why you do hell mention us in Bhagavad Gita? Why do you all mention us in Ramayana? Why do you all mention us in Mahabharata? Remove that Shikandi from Mahabharata. Remove those transgenders who waited for 14 years for Lord Ram. Why the hell you all mention us in your holistic things? Why do you all come and take our blessings? If you all want to take our blessings, if you all feel that we are holistic, then we are genuine. Chitajit sir, if I'm not wrong.
श्योर। और ये एक ऐसी लड़ाई है जो लगातार क्वेयर पीपल जो कि रिलीजियस हैं उनको लड़ती रहनी होगी, और अंततः जैसे जोया मैम ने बोला, अंततः लोग आएंगे ये समझ में, उनको समझ में आएगा कि धीरे धीरे उनको अपनाना ही पड़ेगा। जैसे अब जोया मैम बता रही है कि ऐसे चर्चेस हैं जो ट्रांसजेंडर लोगों को अब अपना रहे हैं, ऐसे ही बाकी धर्म को भी वो अपनाना शुरू करेंगे ही। ये नेचुरल चीज है, ये होना ही है, इसको कोई रोक नहीं सकता।
Okay. So the next one. So, parents have the right to decide the sexuality and gender of their children.
सो पेरेंट्स के पास कुछ स्पेशल वो होते हैं कि जब बच्चे माइनर होते हैं तो उनके वो गार्जियन है, तो कुछ चीजों का वो होता है। बट जेंडर और सेक्सुअलिटी इतना पर्सनल चीज है कि उसके ऊपर उनका कंट्रोल कभी भी चल नहीं सकता। तो आप 18 की उम्र तक तो जोर जबरदस्ती कर सकते हैं, बट 18 के बाद क्या होगा? तो ये कहना कि आप एज अ पेरेंट दूसरे इंसान के फीलिंग्स या उसके वजूद के ऊपर आप कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, इटसेल्फ सुनने में ही अजीब लगता है। अब वो एक इंसान दूसरे इंसान के बीच रिश्ता, पेरेंट्स का हो और उनके बच्चों का हो या कोई और भी रिश्ता हो, चाहे वो कोई दो पार्टनर्स के बीच का ही रिश्ता क्यों ना हो, ये मानना ही कि आप एक दूसरे के ऊपर कंट्रोल करेंगे उनके इमोशंस और वजूद को लेके, वो कोई मतलब ही नहीं है उसका उसका फिर वो रिलेशनशिप ही नहीं रहेगा।
Yes. The next one is that it's by choice. Being homosexual
सो
is by choice.
सेक्सुअलिटी और जेंडर अगर ऐसा होता है कि ये चॉइस है किसी का, तो इसके ऊपर एक सीधा सवाल उठता है कि आप जो या तो जो सिस जेंडर व्यक्ति हैं जो उस जेंडर को मानते हैं जिस जेंडर को उनको दिया गया था बचपन में, या हेट्रोसेक्सुअल है, तो उनको पूछा जाए उन्होंने कब चूज किया वैसा होने का। पर वो नहीं होता है। जब भी कोई हम समाज में जो स्थापित चीज है उसके थोड़ा सा भी अलग होगा, उसको कहा जाता है कि ये गलत है या ये जो चूज कर रहे हैं सामने में। इसमें कोई अगेन कोई लॉजिक नहीं है इसका। लोग हैं वैसे हैं, उनका वो फीलिंग है, उसके ऊपर कोई सवाल करना वाजिब नहीं है।
We talked about
Yes. So
parents having. Sorry, just 1 minute. So we talked about like parents having the right over their children and their sexuality, right? So, Rishabh sir, can you please tell us about any laws regarding the same?
Yes, talking about laws, we can see in 2019 the legislature came up with a law in talking about the rights of the LGBTQ community, but the law hasn't been passed yet due to the president assent and the riots and the number of protests going on by the transgenders. So if we say that if a child is a transgender or of the LGBTQ community, and transgender that the person comes up with his disclosing his identity, the government says that there can be centers where he can be sent and where his identity can be respected in that law, talking about the transgender law in 2019. And if that transgender or LGBTQ person says that I don't want to go to there, that person can claim his maintenance from his parents as being a child, and his parents is liable to maintain for all his liabilities that is holding.
I have a question. Rishabh sir, this is for you
Yes,
as
yes,
you're a
please.
lawyer. या
Yes, yes.
जैसे कि एक औरत को ये लॉ दिया गया है कि सनसेट के बाद उस औरत को जेल में नहीं रखा जा सकता या उसे चौकी में कोई भी पुलिस स्टेशन में कोई कानून लाइक इसके लिए उसे नहीं बिठाया जा सकता है। क्या ये रूल्स ट्रांस कम्युनिटी के लिए भी लागू होता है क्या? क्योंकि
See,
ट्रांसजेंडर्स
talking.
अपने लाइक ट्रांसजेंडर्स also say that we are a trans women because as we our whole attire is like a female. We wear dresses, we wear salwar kameez or we wear sari, we have long hair. So does this rule goes for trans community people also?
सी टॉकिंग अबाउट द प्रेजेंट सिनेरियो, ये जो आपने अभी लॉ की बात की है, ये इंडियन पीनल कोड में डिफाइंड है। और हमारे इंडियन पीनल कोड में जो धारा 7 है वो वर्ड जेंडर को डिफाइन करता है, और वो कहता है द प्रोनाउन ही एंड इट्स डेरिवेटिव आर यूज्ड टू ऑफ एनी पर्सन whether male or female. They don't recognize the third gender as a part of it. So there should be an amendment firstly. Now talking about our Constitution of India, it talks about the Article 14. Article 14 talks about right to equality. Right. Now there should be an amendment in Indian Penal Code to bring all these laws in force in regard to the transgender. So talking about the present situation, there is no law as of yet in regard to the transgender LGBTQ. But if there would be an amendment, if anyone is seeking for the amendment or for the special rights, they should come up with the amendment in section 10 that recognize us as a gender and come up with the amendment as a third gender over there. Then only all the laws of the Indian Penal Code and all other laws in regard to the criminal law and civil law would be regarded with respect to the third gender.
क्यों- क्योंकि सर मैंने हमेशा देखा है बहुत से हमारे ट्रांसजेंडर्स को रात के टाइम पुलिस स्टेशन में हैरेसमेंट फेस करना पड़ता है या उन्हें वो जब कंप्लेंट लिखाने जाते हैं तो उन्हें बहुत सारे इश्यूज फेस करने पड़ते हैं। जो एक फीमेल को प्रॉपर ट्रीटमेंट दी जाती है पुलिस स्टेशन में, हमारे ट्रांस को अभी तक वैसी प्रॉपर ट्रीटमेंट नहीं दी गई। जैसा आपने बताया कि एक कमिटमेंट लाना चाहिए, हमें कि ये रूल के लिए अपील करना चाहिए। तो आपको क्या लगता है अगर ये अपील जैसे सेक्शन 377 के लिए एंड और एलजीबीटीक्यूआई यानी ये राइट्स के लिए जैसे ये जो हाई कोर्ट में केसेस हुए थे एंड ये सब हुआ था, वैसे ही इसके लिए भी अगर किया जाए तो हो सकता है क्या?
Ma'am, I will tell you one thing. What I'm talking is,
हम्म,
we are governed by Constitution of India. Constitution says कि we are,
हम्म,
Constitution talks about fundamental rights, जो कि हमारा जन्म अधिकार है।
हम्म,
आर्टिकल 12 से लेकर आर्टिकल 35 तक जो है, वो कहता है कि जितने भी राइट्स हैं, फंडामेंटल राइट्स हैं। इट डजंट टॉक अबाउट जेंडर। इट सेज
हम्म,
एनी पर्सन हु इज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग और अ लिविंग बीइंग आर एंटाइटल्ड फॉर ऑल these rights, right?
हम्म,
Third gender, men, female, or about any other gender. It considers living being and talks about the living being human rights, right? Now, talking about the that the right that all of the wrongs that are happening against the transgenders. Now, there is a law, Indian Penal Code. इंडियन पीनल कोड जो है उसमें कोई भी गलती होती है या कोई किडनैप, मर्डर, चोरी, सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट, एनी अब्यूज, वो उसको सजा देता है, either with fine, either with imprisonment. But it talks about only two genders. In section 10, he and she, instead of going and asking for the rights, why won't we go with the amendment in section 10? हम ये क्यों नहीं कहते कि आप सेक्शन 10 में अमेंडमेंट लेकर आए, he and she and third gender और LGBTQI, ये वर्ड यूज क्यों नहीं किया जाए, और एनी पर्सन लिविंग बीइंग और ह्यूमन बीइंग। हम इस चीज को अगर अमेंड कर देंगे, जितने भी जो हमें प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही हैं, रात के टाइम हमें लेके जाया जा रहा है या कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही हैं, दिस ऑल थिंग्स विल कम टू एन एंड बिकॉज देयर विल बी अ पीनल प्रोविजन। अगर वो करते हैं तो उनको सजा मिलेगी। सो दिस वुड बी आवर स्टैंड ऑफ मूविंग फर्दर।
एक इस पे पॉइंट है, जब 377 वाला जजमेंट आया था उस पे एक पॉइंट था कि अभी जरूरत है रिफॉर्म का। द जजमेंट आल्सो टेल्स अस कि ये जजमेंट इटसेल्फ को लोगों तक पहुंचाया जाए ताकि लोग समझें कि बात क्या है, किन लोगों की बातें हो रही हैं, उनके राइट्स के बारे में लोगों को पता चले, और उसके साथ ही, और उसका जो इंडिकेशन है जजमेंट का वो ये है, इसी के साथ अब आगे बढ़ने की जरूरत है और लगातार जो लॉज है उसमें बदलाव लाने की जरूरत है। ठीक।
Indeed.
अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसके ठीक बाद हम देखते हैं कि ट्रांसजेंडर राइट्स बिल जो आता है, उसका एक जो मेजर फ्लॉ मेरे लिए जो मुझे दिखा है वो है जो वायलेंस के लिए एक वो दिया गया है, जो सजा का प्रावधान है।
2 years.
इवन सेक्सुअल वायलेंस रेप में आपने 2 इयर्स का मैक्सिमम वो दिया है पनिशमेंट, जबकि आप लिटरली रेप लॉ से उसको पैरेलल ड्रॉ करके आप उसी को यहीं पे कॉपी पेस्ट कर सकते थे। और उससे भी शर्मनाक बात यह है कि इस बात को जब राज्यसभा में उठाया गया था एमपी द्वारा, उस टाइम जो सोशल मिनिस्ट्री के हेड थे मिस्टर थोराट, जो आई थिंक अभी गवर्नर है, वो हंसते हुए बोलते हैं अभी पास हो जाने दीजिए, बाद में देखा जाएगा। तो जब तक हमारा इंसानों के लिए एक बेसिक रिस्पेक्ट ना आए क्वेयर कम्युनिटी के लोगों के लिए, तब तक ये चीजें नहीं बदलेंगी। और विद इन द
Indeed.
पॉलिटिकल स्पेक्ट्रम भी ये हमें देखने की जरूरत है।
So your question is,
Okay, moving on with my next question. It's for Dr. Amrit. So we've all heard a very common stereotype about the community saying that it's a disease. How much of that is true?
So ये जो कहते हैं कि it's a totally wrong misconception. So being homosexual is not a disease at all, even though the research in Harvard and WHO they give evidence that it's not a disease, it's a natural process, various biological as well as psychological factors which leads to person's sexual orientation.
Okay. The next question is that is it just a phase that will pass after a period of time?
Sorry.
Is it just a phase that will move on after a period of time?
So it's not just a phase, it's person's identity, it's his his or her or their sexual orientation. So I don't think it's true.
Okay. The next question is that is it true that people's sexual orientation may be due to certain biological factors that start before birth?
So there has been some studies which but मतलब कि they ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि there are certain genes which we can identify कि yeah these are responsible for someone's sexual orientation, but yeah there are some psychological as well as biological factors which uh, which leads to the sexual orientation of a person.
Okay. The next one is it a sign that a boy might be gay or bi because he likes playing with dolls or does not have any interest in sports in his younger years?
किसी को मेरे पर्सपेक्टिव से किसी को किसी की चॉइसेस से जज करना इट्स नॉट लाइक टू स्टिग्मेटाइज दैट टू द सेक्सुअल ओरिएंटेशन, इट्स नॉट अ राइट थिंग, सो इट्स अ टोटली रॉन्ग स्टेटमेंट.
Okay. Is being gay something to do with hereditary and is there something called gay genes?
So there has been a study in past by WHO which identified which said कि हाँ there are some genes which are responsible for someone being gay, but after that there hasn't been any solid support in that study. So I think that statement is totally wrong.
Okay. Moving on. Is it true that the LGBT youth are more likely to have mental health problems if their families don't accept them?
Yeah, basically there is concept of social deprivation which can lead to development of various mental illnesses like depression, and even people are more prone to suicide and all. So yeah, definitely there are more chances of development of mental health illnesses if there is no family support in the community.
Okay. The last one is how do you think medical professionals can be more welcoming to the LGBTQIA plus community?
Yeah, as I already said, in our government setup, हमारे फॉर्म आते हैं तो वहाँ पे अगर वहाँ पे हम देखते हैं मेल फीमेल और if they mention others, it's more inclusive to add that addition. And more than that, asking somebody for their pronouns to make them comfortable. And even doctors can use some flags or indication to show that they are comfortable or they are inclusive to talk about sexual orientation and accepting. So these are minor changes which can help.
Okay, thank you everyone for answering and telling us about the myths and stereotypes. Moving on to giving it on to Vishika.
Yeah. So for our next one, I would like to call upon Zoya ma'am to talk about a few struggles that are faced by transgenders. So ma'am, sabse pehle, can you tell us, like, I know you've talked a lot about it before, but can you tell us what are like the major struggles that are faced by transgenders today?
The major struggles are being faced by them is renting a house, renting an apartment, because nowadays few of our transgenders, even if they have a proper arms with them or the money with them, although they don't get, just for being a trans, they don't get rooms in good apartments or in the societies or in the colonies. So just because of that, they have to go and stay in slums. And if they are staying in the slums, then they have to face lots of issues. Whereas they have sometimes the landlord is harassing, or the people around they harass them. These are the main issues. And then sometimes transgenders also have to face issues for their documentations. Now if a transgender has to make an Aadhaar card, then she needs lots of things regarding that, where she needs to go and make a psychiatric certificate or a gadget or all those things. There are few transgenders who are educated, they can go by themselves and can do, but the trans person who's not educated and she doesn't know how I have to go and make my documents or how should I open my bank account. These are the issues which trans community face in their day-to-day life. And the main major issue is the thing which I told you, occupation. You know, if a trans person is getting a proper good occupation, then that is a thing. As I mentioned, medication during the medication time, and even if we are innocent and the trans person is innocent, then we have to go and make sure that have done some wrong, and that cop will argue with us only. He'll shout at us, he won't listen us what is it. And sometimes cops will answer us in a such a way where, what is it, how much did you spend for your gender change and all everything, how much you have done this and that. That is none of his business to ask me. I have come for what work, he should ask me that, because this same issue I faced during last week when I met with an accident. I just went to a cop station to launch a complaint. The constable over there who was sitting, he was asking me that how much did you spend for doing your whole surgery? Apparently, when I removed my press ID card and I kept it in front of him, he was quite at times. He apologized to me and he said sorry to me. When I told him that I'm his first transfer to journalist, I had to show him my identity. That time he kept silent. So these are the issues faced by them. And the the main major issue is washroom. Washroom is the main issue. You know what? Now, as you know, trans people, when they speak, they have little bold voice, a loud voice. If a trans person is sitting in a female toilet in slums, or in a public washroom, a common washroom, and a female comes and knocks the door, and if the person says yes, I'm inside, the female sometimes think that there is a man inside. And this some kind of issues also we have to face. Sometimes female says that, why you all are going in this washroom? You all go in the men's washroom. Why you all are coming here? This that. So these are the all major issues which trans community people face in the society.
Yes, ma'am. So, what kind of things might a person who is
Voice is not
transgender?
audible. One second, one second. One
Yes, ma'am.
second, let me connect the Bluetooth. One second. Hello, hello,
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
hello, hello. One, two, three. Hello.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
I cannot hear you. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I cannot hear you. Hello,
Hello, ma'am.
hello, hello. Hello. Just a second. Hello, hello. One,
Hello.
two, three. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Can you
Can
hear
you hear
me?
me?
Yes, ma'am.
One second, one second.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see now.
Yeah. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Actually, the volume is really very low. My Bluetooth is not working properly.
Okay. So, ma'am, do you want to do this after some time?
Uh, I think so. My battery is low. My phone battery is low. That's why this thing is not working. I don't know. In between, it got disconnected. You can continue your question. I'll
Yes.
just answer you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm just the last question. So, what kind of things does a person who is transgender go through when they're coming out?
Sorry, sorry, sorry. Can you get me back?
What kind of problems does a person go through when they're transgender when they're coming out?
So they face lots of issues by their family people when they come out, because sometimes family people say that before, the family members only themselves, they say that we used to see you in a guy's clothes, now you're wearing a female clothes, why you're wearing like this, that.
Hmm.
They cannot understand, because I'll tell you one thing. One of a trans person went for Ganesh Puja at her hometown, and that time her house people had kept her inside only. They said just because you're a trans, you're not allowed to come out, although she went to her hometown and she was been not allowed to attend the puja and everything. So these are the issues where family people torture us a lot for coming out. So for these people, for all these reasons, sometimes trans community people has to face lots of issues in their life to come up and open up. So these things creates a lots of depression and anxiety in their mind, and they try to commit suicide. And these are the issues faced by the trans community.
Yes, ma'am. That was my last question. Thank you very much.
I think so. Have we finished the panel discussion, or it's still left?
Ma'am, a little bit is left. If you can join. If you're able to
I'll
reconnect with
I'll just
us.
rejoin it again. I'll just
Yeah, yeah.
rejoin it.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's some little technical issue from my side.
yeah,
I'll rejoin it again. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. So अब हमारे अगले डिस्कशन के लिए we are going to talk to Dr. Amrit Singh about gender reassignment surgery. Hello, sir.
Hello.
What can you tell us? What exactly is gender reassignment surgery in simple words?
So, gender reassignment surgery or gender affirmative surgery, it's basically a way of transgender to transition from one sexual gender to another. So it can it's a way like there are other ways like socially, legally, and even medically by taking hormonal therapies, etc. So it's a surgery which basically, in simple words, I would say, when persons changes outside to feel to be more with his inside, his, or their inside.
Yes, sir. So, are there different types of surgeries, like other than medical? Are there any other ways for them to do it other than surgeries?
So other than surgeries, as I talked, it's not like mandatory for a trans person to have a surgery to be to be valid or something. So yeah, there are other types like some people experience gender incongruence, और so they can जब तक उनको खुद को कंफर्टेबल लगता है, some people find comfortable just by changing their legal documents and all, but some people wanna go ahead and go opt for a surgery, so it's their and only their choice.
So, sir, what is gender incongruence?
So it's like there is, as Chitradi already said, when gender and sexual orientation doesn't match with each other. So this term is used, which is called gender incongruence.
Okay. And sir, is sex change an appropriate term to use?
So sex change is very old term. Sex change is like it's not currently used term, and it might be offensive for some people. So we use the term gender affirmative, like not changing. It's like correcting the thing. Yeah. So we prefer the term gender affirmative surgery.
Okay. और सर इस प्रोसीजर में कोई risks है?
So, as of any surgery, the general surgical risks are there, but there are not like specific risks to this specific surgery unless the person is clear by himself that by themselves that they wanna opt for it.
What are like the things they go through mentally during this procedure?
So, uh, personally, there are like there I can't express like myself. I mean I'm not one able to answer.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you hear me? Hello, one, two, three.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, I'll complete that question.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the people from the trans community sometimes they go in little depression. Few of them after surgery, for a while they go in depressed that before I was this way and now I'm this way. Now I have to continue my whole life into this. But there are some of them who have lots of guts in them. They manage themselves, however, to forget all those things and to start a new life because they sometimes they themselves they are happy, but here also a doctor should also play a good role when after a surgery how that doctor a doctor guides a female after her cesarean when she gives a birth to a kid and like how he pampers her female patient, he tells her that you have to take rest, you have to do this. A doctor should be that strong person who can, motivate and guide a patient after that particular surgery. Few of the doctors, they, I'm really sorry, doctor, you're saying this, but sometimes few of them try to make them little scared and all like this can happen, that can happen, this and that. But although your doctor should help them to motivate in some way. There are few of our trans people who were little disturbed after the surgery and all, but now they have been picked up themselves in such a good way that none of the other people can recognize they are trans. They get that beautiful look and that glow on them
Yes, ma'am.
like that.
So another question for
Yeah.
you. What advice would you want to give to all those people who want to actually take up this surgery?
Sorry, is this question for me?
Both of you, ma'am. You can answer first and then sir can answer.
Yeah. See, if people are taking this surgery, some places this surgery is very expensive, and in municipal hospitals, it's little cheap. I can say not much, but little cheap. There are lots of procedure in this that you have to go through lots of procedures. There's a psychiatric test, there is a blood test, then there is an X-ray. every that all kind of tests there are there which you have to go through all this. If you are mentally prepared and you have just that much of strength and guts that yes, I can go through all this. The main thing in this whole process, you should be mentally stable, fit, and you should be your inner will, the inner power, the willpower should be that strong that yes, if I'm going for a particular thing, I know that I will take a new rebirth and I'll be coming back as how I have gone, I will come as the same back. Rest is in doctor's hands because they are the god at that time who are doing the work like that.
Sir, any advice from your side?
Yeah, definitely. Like man said, ki mentally it should be clear to the person, and uh, deciding on from which surgeon you are getting, and proper research. It plays also an important role, and uh, the prescriptions and all, they should be like, they should follow up because it's a long journey. There are follow ups, so they should be ready for all that. Like, they should not like ki, there are other things going on in their life and they want to opt for it. They should be clear regarding that.
Even
Uh,
I can say they should. Sorry. I'm interrupting in between.
it's okay.
Even they should see that they are taking the guidelines under a proper doctor who has a proper degree, who is a MBBS student who has passed his MBBS and other degrees and in surgical medication and everything. They should even verify that because his one small mistake can cause you a harm for your eternal life.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, another question for you. So, what is
Yeah.
that one thing you would like to hear if suppose you've just come out or you've just finished this procedure? What is
From
that one thing you would want to hear from people around you?
what kind of a procedure
Ma'am, the gender
what we spoke
reassignment
right now?
surgery. Yeah,
I would be more happy if like the hello.
yeah.
Yeah, I would be more happy like after going through this surgery, or like I would be more happy my bestie would support me, and like if she would smile at me and like she will say that yeah, now you are a completely female, and like I know although I'll be a trans female, but I would be more happy to hear that thing from her, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
like that.
Yeah.
Because the person whom I'm calling my bestie, she's been a very big support for me in throughout my whole journey.
Yes, ma'am. So
Like
that's
that.
all for this. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was very insightful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So next up, we have a discussion on the various laws concerning the LGBTQ community. We have with us Mr. Rishabh Bhandari to talk about a few of them. Hello, sir.
Hello, ma'am.
So can you tell us what Section 377 of the IPC is all about?
Indeed, ma'am, yes. So, talking about, ma'am, Section 377 Indian Penal Code, it defines the word unnatural offense and it penalizes it as well. So, it says that whoever voluntarily has carnal intercourse against the order of nature with any man, woman, or any animal. It was a law that had been laid down by the legislature in 1861 by British India, and it penalizes it as well. It says that if anyone is caught by doing all these acts, or if anyone is doing all these acts, he or she shall, or any other person, or transgender, or the third gender, may be punished with imprisonment for a life, umar kaid jisko kehte hain, or with the fine, or imprisonment for a term which may be extended to 10 years. This was a scenario before 2018. Now there comes a case before the Supreme Court. In the case of Navtesh Singh Johar versus Union of India, it says that the that the consensual adult gay sex is not a crime, and Article 14 and 21 of Indian Constitution contradicts the present view of Section 377 remains valid. against force relating to sex with minors, non-consensual sexual acts, and bestiality. At this point of time, everyone is saying that the Section 377 is decriminalized, but talking it is partially decriminalized. If it is consensual, then it would be decriminalized. If it isn't consensual, then it would be criminalized. So these are the two parts. So we need to understand these parts very well, that what is criminalized and what not. If the sex is amounting to be of the consensual, then it is legal. If it is not consensual, then it isn't legal, and they may be penalized, and there may be a word known as Umar Cat and with fine or a imprisonment which may be extended to 10 years.
Yes, sir. So, what are the laws regarding live-in relationship in India, especially for the LGBTQ community?
I'm talking about the living relationship laws. There are no as such law in India yet. But we are having our rights in Indian Constitution under Article 19 and 21. Article 19 says that we are having a freedom to speech and expression. Now the speech is always verbal. Now expression is an act of physical. It also says that we are having a right to reside. After it, we are having a Article 21. In number of the Supreme Court judges, they have said that the living relationship is not illegal, it is legal. Under Article 19 and 21, they are having a right to practice it. And Constitution is supreme and it is our grand norm. So there isn't any objection living in living relationship. Now talking about the LGBTQ, even they both can live after the Nafte Singh Johar judgment and Article 19 and 21 and 14.
Yes, sir. So, the articles that you mentioned, 14, 19, and 21, are said to be the golden triangle, right? So, why is
Indeed.
it called the golden triangle?
I'm talking about Article 14. It says that the right to equality. Talking in addition to it, we should read Article 15 as well. It says that no one should be discriminated in regard to the sex. Now, the understanding in regard to sex is biological sex that everyone understands, that either a person is man or woman. But no one talks about the sexual orientation, that what a person feels, whether he's a man or a woman or is he a third gender. So that's how Article 14 and 15 are being combined as together. Talking about Article 19, it talks about right to privacy, about all other rights to the freedom, about all the rights to rental accommodation. And Article 21, it's talk about right to life and personal dignity. When these three combines, it forms up with all the rights. So that's why they are considered as the golden fundamental rights.
Yes, sir. So, what is the transgender bill of 2019 and why was it criticized by the transgender community?
I'm talking about the transgender bill. It lays down with a special status to the transgenders by promoting their social, economic, and all other rights that they are having. It was indeed in promotion of their rights in education sector, welfare sector, in the social and economic sectors as well. But they're talking about the criticism where it says that if a person comes up with a sexual orientation, that I'm not a man, I'm not a woman, I'm fall into third, he have to go to the district magistrate and come up with a certificate of the third gender. Why another gender comes up to be, needs to come up with a certificate? Is there really a need of it? If Article 9, we were talking about Article 19, right to privacy, the same was laid down in case Puttaswamy case. If I'm having my right to privacy, then why I need to come up with a certificate? Recognize me, right? Recognize me. I also want to enjoy the rights that every human being is having. But there shouldn't be in regard to going to the district magistrate and coming up with this thing. First one was this one. Second one was, if there is any sexual, physical, or any violation in regard to the rights of the transgenders, it says that that person should be penalized with 6 months or with 2 years, between the 6 months to 2 years. Now, if a girl is getting rape threats, sexual harassment, then the punishment is of around say 5 years to 10 years or with a life imprisonment. Then why with a transgender 2 years? So these are the practices that are very, very wrong and needs to be stopped. And that's why the protests were going on and the bill is pending as of yet.
Yes, sir. So, for my last question, where do we stand in terms of same sex marriage in India?
I'm talking about the same-sex marriage. There isn't any law as of yet. But in April 2022, one of the member from in the Lok Sabha presented a bill. It says we are having one law that is known as a Special Marriage Act. It says that in the Special Marriage Act, instead of women and men, the word should be used as a spouse. If I'm going to marry another person, there shouldn't be a man or woman. There should be a word spouse. Now, spouse can be a man, woman, or a third gender. And in it, they are legalizing the marriage in regard to the same-sex marriage. So might be there is a possibility the law would be coming down under section 4 of the Special Marriage Act, and with a condition that if it is a boy, then the age should be 2020 both or above. If it is a woman, then the age needs to be 18 and 18 for both.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for this insightful conversation. Next up, I would like to call up Madhura to continue.
Yeah. So we have with us today Nitish, our very own Nitish Mahajan, the president of GirlUp Ahsaas, who was in closet and came to the world just a few days back, and now identify himself as a queer. So, hello, sir. I would like to ask you about your experience from being an ally to identifying yourself as a queer.
Okay, so
We
hi
could start
everyone.
with, yeah, hi.
Yeah, say, then I will continue.
Yeah, maybe we could start with how you realized your identity and when it happened.
Okay. So, first of all, very happy Pride to each and everyone present there. So, guys, first of all, I would like to say this thing. It's not about ki when you realize. It's about how you accepted yourself. This is what I want to say. Ki like, yes, I was aware that yes, I am a homosexual or a gay person, but when I was in my journey, like when I was realizing कि हाँ मतलब कि यस आई एम अ पर्सन जिसको लड़कों की तरफ थोड़ा अट्रैक्शन हो रहा है तो इट वाज कि मैं जब अपने लाइक व्हेन आई वाज इन माय स्कूल माय इन 11th क्लास जब सारे बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स वर अट्रैक्टेड टुवर्ड्स ईच अदर देयर 8th एंड 9th क्लास एवरीवन वाज लाइक कि हाँ मेरे को इस पे क्रश है मेरे को उस पे क्रश है तो मेरे को ये सब फीलिंग्स नहीं आ रही थी एंड आई वाज लाइक कि व्हाई I'm not getting all these feelings. What enjoyment they are getting, what feelings they are getting. I hope you're getting the thing. So that was the thing. So then happened there. Then a person came to my life, and I was having the feelings for that person, but that was a boy. So then after that, I was like, then I realized कि हाँ ये ऐसा अच्छा ऐसा भी होता है sort of thing. तो ये सब मेरी लाइफ में हो रहा था बट वो अब मैं इसलिए इस चीज को कर रहा था बिकॉज आई एम अ बिट फेमिनिन यू कैन से तो इस चीज का मेरे को स्टार्टिंग से ही थोड़ा लाइक वी कैन से मजाक होता था मेरा इस चीज का कि हाँ कि तू लड़का है लड़कों की तरह हरकतें करना कि लाइक पीपल यूज्ड टू कॉल मी एज छक्का हिजड़ा गुड whatsoever the name you might know कि like gay is still a taboo in our society तो ऐसे सब terms मतलब लाइक फेस किए थे मैंने भी और उस टाइम पे ऐसा भी हुआ कि जब मेरे को फीलिंग्स आई मैंने खुद को रियलाइज किया कि यस आई बिलोंग्स टू द LGBTQA कम्युनिटी एंड आई एम अ गे उस टाइम पे मैंने ये चीज रियलाइज की कि हाँ ये है बट I was the book like I was the like always in the good books of my parents and all my teachers and all तो वो चीज भी एक रहती थी कि यार जब मेरे को समझ आया कि यस आई एम अ गे तो उसके बाद मेरे को बहुत होता था कि लाइक हाँ मैं हूँ गे बट मैं इस चीज को ना मतलब दुनिया को नहीं बताऊंगा मेरे को खुद से डर लग रहा था कि यार मैं ऐसा क्यों हूँ एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ एंड then things happened so wrong that I committed suicide for 12 times in my life and I accepted myself after 4 years like it was like कि मैं रेलवे स्टेशन चले जाता था and I just like कि I just want to end my life because I don't want to be the embarrassment for my family. I hope you got that thing. तो उस चीज को खत्म करने के लिए I just wanted to end my life कि हाँ बस यहाँ पे अब लाइफ खत्म है ये चीज नहीं आनी चाहिए उसके बाद someone came like a friend of mine came to me and then he was like कि Nitesh okay you are this you accept you are human being and you are a person जिसको कोई भी पसंद कर सकता है पीपल तुम्हें तुम्हारी सेक्सुअल ओरिएंटेशन की वजह से नहीं तुम्हें तुम्हारी क्वालिटीज की वजह से एक्सेप्ट करते हैं तो वहाँ से मेरी लाइफ में एक टर्निंग पॉइंट आया, फिर मेरे को समझ आया कि नो दिस इज़ अ टर्म, और फिर मैंने इस पे रिसर्च करना स्टार्ट की। और अब मेरे को ये भी रखना था कि मेरे को क्लोज़ेट में रहना है, क्योंकि आई डोंट थिंक इट दैट वाज़ द टाइम, बिकॉज़ आई जस्ट कंप्लीटेड माय 12th एंड इट वाज़ माय फर्स्ट ईयर ऑफ माय कॉलेज। तो मेरे को क्लोज़ेट में रह के तब भी मेरे साथ बुली हो रही थी, लाइक देयर वर पीपल यूज्ड टू कॉल मी विद एन नंबर ऑफ नेम। तो ये सब भी रहता था। एंड उसके अलावा उस टाइम पे मेरे साथ क्या हुआ था, आई केम टू एन ऐप, अ गे ऐप, डेटिंग ऐप। वहाँ पे किसी ने मेरे से पैसे माँगे थे, अदरवाइज़ ही विल रिवील माय आइडेंटिटी। तो आई पेड 5000 सीक्रेटली टू दैट पर्सन, जस्ट बिकॉज़ वो मेरी आइडेंटिटी रिवील ना करे। तो वो भी एक जर्नी थी मेरे पार्ट में। इसके अलावा क्या कहते हैं, मेरी लाइफ में एक वो भी एक इंसिडेंट हुआ था, जिसमें मज़ाक उड़ता था, फिर मेरे को क्लोज़ेट में रह के एक अलाइ बन के रहना पड़ा। और मैंने सोचा कि ठीक है, मैं अलाइ बन के रहूँगा, बट मैं इस एलजीबीटीक्यूआई कम्युनिटी के लिए लड़ूँगा। तब मैंने एलजीबीटी कम्युनिटी बहुत ज़्यादा, मतलब इस पे रिसर्च किया, और मेरे को लॉज़ पता लगे कि इनके लिए ये लॉज़ भी नहीं है, ये लॉज़ भी नहीं है। फिर वहाँ से मैंने अपने रिसर्च पेपर्स लिखना, जितना मैं आज के टाइम पे सोशल मीडिया इज़ नोन एज़ द टूल टू क्रिएट अवेयरनेस। तो वहाँ से सोशल मीडिया में भी मैंने सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू अवेयरनेस स्प्रेड की, एंड लाइक all that things happened. I wrote for the article 19, that is freedom of speech and expression, and what is the status of LGBTQIA community for the same. And then after that, uh, adoption rights for the transgender person. So these are the some things which I did, and I accepted myself ki yes, this is who I am. And then I told my family few days back ki, my mom knows this, and my friends knows this ki yes, I'm a gay, and she accepted me with whole heart. So that was my journey about being the coming out of the
That's
closet.
that's really great. You've been through a lot, I could say.
Yes.
And I would like to ask you, like, when you came out to your friends, as you said, like, did you think that there was some change in their behavior or the way they treated you, or something like
Okay.
that?
Got you. So, yes, there was. There are some friends, though, they were like कि हाँ, वो बहुत ज़्यादा वो कर रहे, there was friends जो बहुत ज़्यादा सपोर्ट कर रहे थे, कुछ ऐसा कह रहे थे कि हमें पता था, बट इट वाज जस्ट दैट कि हम शर्माते थे पूछने में कि दिस इज योर पर्सनल थिंग एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ। हमें पता था, बट इट्स जस्ट दैट। उसके अलावा कुछ ऐसे इंसिडेंट भी हुए थे, जब उनको पता चला, दे विल बी गो अवे, वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू टॉक टू यू बिकॉज ऑफ दैट और दैट। Some people question my parenting, my upbringing, ki, all that stuff. Then all these things, yes, happened to me, and some friends were, yes, they were positive, and they there are some I got mixed reaction from each and everyone. So some people are still accepting me as I am. So yeah, that was my journey.
Okay. So, what would you like to tell the people, like those who are still in the closet? I know it could be very overwhelming for many of them. So, what is
Okay.
your advice?
ओके, सो सबसे पहले जस्ट डू वन थिंग। सीधा ही अगर आपको समझ आता है कि हाँ, यस यू आर, सीधा मत क्लोजेट से बाहर आओ, सीधा किसी को बताओ मत, पहले अपने आप को एक्सेप्ट करो कि यस दिस इज हु यू आर। एंड देन आफ्टर दैट मैं एडवाइस करूंगा कि फॉर व्हाट वी कैन से इज कि फाइनेंशियली थोड़ा सा इंडिपेंडेंट हो जाओ, सो दैट कि अगर किसी के पेरेंट्स या किसी को आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि ओनली पेरेंट्स, बट अगर कोई किसी को डिसऑन करता है या कोई किसी को निकाल देता है, तो उस वो फाइनेंशियली इतना इंडिपेंडेंट होना चाहिए कि ही और शी कैन go he or she can survive, he or she can go for
Right.
the survival sort of thing. Yeah.
Great. I'm sure that would be useful for many of them. Also, you talked about how it affected your mental health. So I was going to come on that topic as well. We have few chats. I'm sure you even have faced such chats. If you could show it, um, just a
Yeah.
second. So these are some common chats that many of the people from the queer community are familiar with. They get this a lot. Even you said you had this experience.
Okay, so here I
So
would like to add Chityajit for this.
yeah.
If he is having such experience in his life. So yeah, as I already mentioned, ki some people questioned my like if I'll read my second if the I'll read the second comment here. Then this it says like कैसे माँ बाप है तेरे. हाँ तो yes, people used to question my upbringing and my parenting की कैसे parents मिले हैं तुम्हें and all that stuff. तो हाँ ऐसी सब चीजें भी रहती थी. And first comment is very common. People used to think ki if you are a homosexual or like from the LGBTQA community, and then you are a pervert person, like you are always there for like sex and all that stuff. So yes, this really affects you कि like you expect कि हाँ मैंने तुम्हारी लाइफ में कभी इंटरफेयर नहीं करा कि तुम किसके साथ रिलेशनशिप में हो या तुम किसके साथ बात कर रहे हो, मैंने कभी तुम्हारी लाइफ में नहीं किया. अब मेरी लाइफ की ये पार्ट है तो why you are like why you are questioning my sexual orientation with whom I'm sharing my bed. That's my personal choice. That's my personal life. So yeah, as I said, I attempted suicide for 12 times, and 4 years I got. Uh, at that time, I was literally mentally I was mentally unstable at that time. So yeah, that was my journey for the same.
Yeah, when I was coming to that topic, mental health, we all know it's tough. It's still for even us people. People are accepting that it is an important part of our life, healthy life. Even the LGBTQ community face such challenges made because of the prejudices that exist in the today's society. So I would like to ask all the panelists actually, all the like, what are your takes on this? Maybe they could share your journey, how you came out of it.
Yeah.
So,
Hello.
Madhura, can you please repeat your question, please?
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, what is your take on this? Anyone, if you could share your experiences or how you uh, handled it, how you came out of that state mentally, because as even we said, it can be very overwhelming. It's very disturbing how people treat you, stuff. So
To
maybe we
be
could
honest,
start with you, Chitrajit. So
yeah. To
yeah.
be honest, make way for yourself and live your life, and start to care less about what people think, who you are and what you are and what you are going to do, etc. etc. You just need to have a clear conscience and do whatever you want, and let people say people will talk about everything and anything you do whatsoever. So don't seek acceptance. As a friend of mine just said, uh, it's not going to give you any kind of feeling of fulfillment. It will only make you more uh, go towards doing things to please others. Life is shouldn't be about that. It should be about pleasing yourself and living a life of dignity. जितना हो सके अपनी लाइफ को अपने हिसाब से जीने की कोशिश करिए. एक क्लियर माइंडसेट रखिए कि ये चीज़ मेरे लिए अच्छी है, ये चीज़ बुरी है, उस पे चलिए. लोग और समाज, ये 2 चीज़ें हैं, ये कुछ ना कुछ कहते ही रहेंगे. इन जो गाना है, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना, वो बहुत सही बात है. उनका काम सिर्फ़ कहना है, उनको कहने दीजिए. आप बड़े से बड़ा अच्छा काम भी कर लेंगे, वो तब भी कोई ना कोई कुछ कहेगा, कुछ ऐसा काम करेंगे जिसमें किसी की गलती हो सके, क्योंकि इंसान है, गलती हो ही सकती है. उसमें भी वो कुछ ना कुछ कहेंगे. तो जितना हो सके लोगों की बातों पे ध्यान ना दें. खास करके अगर आप मार्जिनलाइज कम्युनिटी से हैं, आप अपनी राह बनाइए और आप ये ध्यान में रखिए कि आप एक बेहतर कल की संरचना कर रहे हैं. बस.
Maybe Nitish, you wanna add something on that?
या हाँ, जैसे चित्तजीत ने कहा कि कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना। तो अगर आप लाइक अगर आप एलजीबीटीक्यू से हैं और अगर आपको लगता है कि हाँ, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोग कहते रहेंगे और ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आप एलजीबीटीक्यू से हो तभी लोग कहेंगे। लोग कहते रहेंगे और लोगों का काम है कहना, आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते। जस्ट लिव योर लाइफ एंड बी प्राउड ऑफ हू यू आर एंड celebrate your existence. So that's what I want to say.
Yeah, that's true. Even I would like to ask this question to you as well, Dr. Amit. As being a doctor, what would you recommend, or what are your take on this?
So currently, I'm doing my internship. So I had my posting in psychiatry department of our college. So I was kind of excited to have somebody from queer community to come there and ask for help. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. So I was like, we haven't made that comfortable environment for LGBT community. But yeah, we are trying and we will get there, I guess.
Just a small addition here that I wanted to make is the scientific community, and when I say scientific, I am including the medical, the engineers, everyone included in it, need to have some sense of social science within that scientific temperament as well. Because if you see, there are many people in the scientific community without scientific temperament. और अगर लोगों को पता हो, इवन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इटसेल्फ टॉक्स अबाउट कि फर्दरिंग साइंटिफिक टेम्परामेंट आपके अंदर होना चाहिए, इररेस्पेक्टिव अगर आपने साइंस पढ़ाई करी। साइंटिफिक टेम्परामेंट मतलब है चीज़ों को सवाल करना, क्यों है, कुछ भी क्यों है, क्या नहीं है, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, जिज्ञासा को वो करना, लॉजिकल बने रहना, जितना हो सके सुपरस्टिशन से, डॉगमा से दूर रहना, ये सब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में ऑलरेडी दिया हुआ है। तो व्हेन ऑलरेडी हमारे पास ये सब चीजें हैं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में, जरूरी है कि साइंटिफिक जो करिकुलम है उसको और ह्यूमेन बनाता है, जितना हो सके एक ह्यूमनिस्टिक टच दिया जा सके। क्योंकि जोया जी ने जो बोला वो बिल्कुल सही बात है, वो एक पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है उनका। एक सिंपल एक और एग्जांपल मैं दे देता हूँ। अगर आप कोई भी गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल में जाइए और जहाँ पे एसटीडीज का चेकअप होता है वहां पे जाइए, द मोमेंट यू विल एंटर इट, आपको समझ में आ जाएगा कि लोग आपको कैसे देख रहे हैं। तो जरूरी है कि जितना हो सके द साइंटिफिक कम्युनिटी इंक्लूडिंग मेडिकल प्रोफेशनल्स एज वेल, उनको और ह्यूमेन बनाया जाए, जितना हो सके ह्यूमंस के करीब लाया जाए, तभी हम लोग एक बेहतर और भी मजबूत सिस्टम बना पाएंगे।
Yeah.
Nitish, I think you're on mute.
ओके, सो मैं कह रहा था आई वांट टू ऐड हियर कि अगर आपके दिमाग में कोई क्वेश्चन है फॉर द एलजीबीटीक्यूआई कम्युनिटी, तो उसको स्टडी करें या उनसे पूछें। इट्स बेटर कि आप खुद से उनके assumptions बनाएं। लाइक यू थिंक कि इफ ही इज अ गे देन ही मस्ट बी अ फेमिनिन पर्सन, इफ शी इज अ गे, इफ शी इज अ लेस्बियन, तो वो टॉमबॉय होगी। तो इससे अच्छा थोड़ा स्टडी करें, फिर उसके बाद इस assumption पे आए। It will be more better for the, like, for the LGBTQIA community. You by this you are making us a comfortable place, like you are making for us a comfortable place to live.
Right. Be informed. Yeah, of course. Okay. Thank you all. I think people got their answer. This. Next, I'd like to invite Reena for next sub segment, that is problems within the community.
So now we'll be discussing some of the major problems that are prevalent within the LGBTQI community. So I'd like to call Zoya ma'am also. Is she with us? Okay, so we can start with Chittajit sir. Right now, so can you just tell us at present what are some of the main problems that you think are prevalent? Like we know what are the external problems that are happening. So can you tell us something like within the community, some of the problems?
So after consensual and adult sex was decriminalized from the 377, and also transgender people got their recognition from the Supreme Court, it was expected that we will move steadily towards more progressive laws and programs. Unfortunately, it came to a sudden stop. एक एक रोक लग गई उसमें, जजमेंट्स आ गए, बातें हो गई, बट उसको उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कैसे समाज में उसको ढाला जाए, हाउ द सोसाइटी नीड्स टू बी एजुकेटेड अबाउट दीज थिंग्स, वो कभी नहीं हुआ, इट नेवर हैपेंड। तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जो एक चीज की जरूरत है वो है एंटी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन लॉ या एंटी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन पॉलिसी विद इन कॉर्पोरेट्स, और कॉर्पोरेट्स के अलावा भी गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशंस, गवर्नमेंट वर्क प्लेसेस, विद इन फैमिलीज, कि अगर आपको ये कहा जाए कि if you are going to be openly gay, openly queer, openly transgender person, you will be removed from the will. It, तो इसका कोई solution नहीं है. We don't have a law which restricts it. The most you can do is challenge the will itself, and it will take a long time to do that. Any judgment regarding such wills, it takes at least 10 to 15 years. So it is better to bring such progressive laws which will prohibit discrimination from its root. जितना हो सके रोकथाम की जरूरत है, जॉब्स में हो गया, इनहेरिटेंस में हो गया, इन सब चीजों का जितनी जल्दी हो सके, ये मतलब बेसिक मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है जिसमें कुछ स्पेशल बातें हो रही हैं। Insurance, for example, I remember a few months ago, an insurance company quite well known, they propagated that oh, we have started to open bank accounts, saving bank accounts for queer couples. But when a queer couple went to their branch in Bangalore, I think, not even a tier 2, tier 3 city, the branch manager didn't even knew about what such policy has been introduced by the company. तो जब तक लिप सर्विस करने के लिए अगर आप काम करने वाले हैं, तो ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं होगा कि आपने क्या कहते हैं, दिखाने के लिए आपने ये कह दिया कि हमने ये लाया है, बट आपने अपने स्टाफ को ही एजुकेट नहीं किया कि ये क्या है, तो आप कैसे धरातल पे उसको आप वो करोगे, लागू करोगे। इसके अलावा हाउसिंग, वाइल एक बात जो समझने की जरूरत है, ओपनली क्वेयर पीपल जो है उनके वो बहुत ज्यादा प्रोन टू वायलेंस होते हैं, और उनमें से एक और इसका एग्जांपल देखने को मिलता है जब वो हाउसिंग के लिए जाते हैं, बहुत लोग मना कर देते हैं सिर्फ ये रीजन देके क्योंकि वो किस तरीके के दिखते हैं, किस तरह से एक्ट करते हैं, बस, और कोई रीजन नहीं। तो ये इटसेल्फ एक डिस्क्रिमिनेशन है। अगेन, अगर एक सिंपल लॉ एंटी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन का आएगा, ये सब कुछ सॉल्व हो सकता था। मैरिज की जब बात आ रही है, मेरे हिसाब से मैरिज के पहले इन सब चीजों को देखने की जरूरत है, क्योंकि मैरिज के पहले आपको इक्वालिटी बिफोर लॉ को स्थापित करना जरूरी है। मैरिज के साथ बहुत सारी चीजें आती हैं। मैरिज के साथ आपको एक अगर मैरिज है तो ऑफ कोर्स हो सकता है डिवोर्स भी होगा। डिवोर्स लॉज कहाँ पे है? हाँ, उसके अलावा अगर वायलेंस का कोई केस होता है विद इन कपल्स, उसका लॉ किधर है? कोई भी क्वेयर कपल हुआ, वायलेंस अगर है किसी भी तरीके का, चाहे वो डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस हो या सेक्सुअल वायलेंस हो, उसका लॉ ही किधर है? तो अनटिल एंड अनलेस हम लोग जो पूरा लॉ का सिस्टम है उसको स्ट्रीमलाइन करेंगे टू फिट द क्वेयर पीपल के जो राइट्स है उसको उनमें ढालने के लिए, कुछ भी ये मैरिज और ये सब चीजें, ये सिर्फ अगेन लिप सर्विस तक रह जाएगा। ये सिर्फ प्रिविलेज्ड लोगों तक ही सीमित रह जाएगा जिनके पास संसाधन है इसको, रिसोर्स को अप्लाई करने का। people who come from marginalized backgrounds, people who are basically living from day to day wages, queer people, उनको कोई फायदा नहीं मिलेगा, they won't be affected by it. So we need to make structural changes first before going towards things like marriage or even then adoption. There are multiple layers to whatever law or public policy that is made, तो उसको समझना बहुत जरूरी है। जब हम वो समझ जाएंगे तब हम लोग ये समझ में आएगा कि कितना कॉम्प्लेक्स है। अभी लॉज बाइनरी में है या इट टॉक्स अबाउट पीपल, जहां पीपल है अंडरस्टैंडेबल, ओके, बट द मोमेंट इट कम्स इनटू बाइनरीज दिक्कत आ जाएगी। आपने ट्रांसजेंडर लॉ तो बना लिया, पर ट्रांसजेंडर पीपल को उसमें फिट करने के लिए आपने उसका क्या किया? तो वो भी करने की जरूरत है। इसके बाद अगर हम विद इन द कम्युनिटी में आए तो देखिए, लाइक पीपल इन इन लिविंग इन अ सोसाइटी, एक सोसाइटी में जितनी भी बुराइयां हैं वो क्वेयर कम्युनिटी में भी होने के चांसेस है। ऐसा मैं बिल्कुल नहीं कहूंगा कि बिकॉज क्वेयर कम्युनिटी इज मार्जिनलाइज कम्युनिटी हेंस दे आर अछूते हैं ऐसी चीजों पे। वी हैव कास्टिज्म, वी हैव इस्लामोफोबिया, वी हैव ट्रांसफोबिया विद इन द कम्युनिटी इटसेल्फ। आप मतलब जो सिस गे या सिस लेस्बियन विमेन होंगी, विमेन में कम देखा जाता है, पर सिस गे मेन में बहुत दिखा जाता है कि ट्रांसफोबिया कितना है। तो अनटिल अनलेस, बिकॉज वी कॉल इट अ कम्युनिटी, वो कम्युनिटी का सेंस भी आना है। सिर्फ बोलने के लिए कम्युनिटी अगर होगी तो कोई मतलब नहीं। तो एक, जो मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ, मैं होपफुल रहता हूँ कल के लिए। तो एक बेहतर कल को बनाने के लिए अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग, वी नीड टू unlearn our own prejudices towards other people, including people, even if you are from the queer community, including people within the queer community. There is biphobia. People think that bisexuals are inherently disingenuous. They will cheat you in one way or the other. सो ऐसी जो भ्रांतियां हैं, इट्स बेसलेस, और बहुत से मतलब इंडिविजुअलिस्टिक क्या कहते हैं, एक्सपीरियंसेस को बना के, वो कहानियां बना के हो जाता है जो होता है समाज में भी, जो देखा जाता है, जो मिथ बस्टिंग का जो आपने सेशन किया वो भी वही है। तो इंस्टेड ऑफ फॉलिंग प्रे टू थिंग्स दैट हैव अफेक्टेड अस ऑलरेडी, हम क्यों वही चीज कर रहे हैं अपने ही कम्युनिटी के लोगों के साथ? तो कोशिश करना है कि खुद अनलर्न करें ऐसी चीजों को, और फिर रीलर्न करें कि कैसे एक बेहतर हम कम्युनिटी बना सकें। थैंक यू।
आई वांट टू ऐड अ पॉइंट। जैसे चित्यजीत ने कहा कि लाइक कॉर्पोरेट को अवेयरनेस होनी चाहिए, तो आई वांट टू ऐड दिस थिंग कि अगर आप कॉर्पोरेट में जून के मंथ में ही सिर्फ अपना प्राइड फ्लैग अपनी डीपी ना लगाएं, इसके अलावा अगर आपकी कम्युनिटी में, मतलब आपके कॉर्पोरेट में अगर कोई आता है, ही और शी, इफ ही और शी इज फ्रॉम द एलजीबीटीक्यूआई कम्युनिटी, तो उसको एक्चुअली वो सारे राइट्स दें, उन सबको वो सारे लाइक प्रिविलेजेस दें जो आपने एक नॉर्मल हेट्रोसेक्सुअल पर्सन को दिए हैं। तो सिर्फ जून मंथ तक या प्राइड मंथ तक अपने आप को रिस्ट्रिक्ट ना करें कि यस वी वेलकम द एलजीबीटीक्यूआई कम्युनिटी, और उसके अलावा एक्चुअल में भी इस चीज को इम्प्लीमेंट किया जाए।
जैसा जोया मैम ने कहा था कि even if she had a good experience with one company, there have been experiences in a lot others जिसमें उनको डिस्क्रिमिनेशन फेस करना पड़ा है। तो दिस अगेन, क्योंकि जो कॉर्पोरेट का जो सिस्टम होगा वो भी इसी समाज से ही निकला है, द पीपल आर द सेम, सो वी नीड टू चेंज दैट स्ट्रक्चर इटसेल्फ। उसका जो जैसा कि नीतीश ने कहा, सिर्फ जून तक उसको सीमित कर देना कि एक पार्टी हो गया या आपने अपना लोगो चेंज कर दिया, वहां तक सीमित नहीं होना चाहिए। आपकी पॉलिसी में, आपकी हायरिंग की पॉलिसी में कैसे वो आएगा, आप कैसे मार्जिनलाइज्ड कम्युनिटीज के लोगों को कैसे आप इंक्लूड कर रहे हो, वो भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। ये इट इज नॉट एन अननोन फैक्ट, ट्रांसजेंडर पीपल इन इंडिया आर, if not the most, but one of the most marginalized community within the queer community. तो अगर आप एक्चुअली मीन करते हैं चेंज लाना, तो उनको आप पहली बात तो अपॉर्चुनिटीज दें, और क्योंकि वो मार्जिनलाइज्ड है, उनको एक एक्स्ट्रा सपोर्ट दें जिससे वो लर्न भी कर सके, बिकॉज दे नीड दैट, क्योंकि उनको वो सोसाइटी से नहीं मिला। अगर आप एक्चुअली में मानते हैं आप रिस्पॉन्सिबल कॉर्पोरेट हैं, आपको वो करना चाहिए। वो सिर्फ अगेन लिप सर्विस तक सीमित नहीं रहना चाहिए.
All right. Thank you so much, both Nitish and Chitaji sir, for the good, wonderful answers. So another question we have is, what are some of the effective ways in which people within the community can support each other?
So we need to understand that there are layers within the community itself. There are divisions based on class. There are divisions based on caste, religion, and of course the gender and sexuality as well. So first of all, we need to learn these intricacies itself. It is a labor that we have to do so that we can build a better community. People who are more privileged within the community need to support people who are not. उनको आगे आना चाहिए और कोशिश करना चाहिए कि उनके पास जो रिसोर्सेज हैं उसका इस्तेमाल करके एक कम्युनिटी को बेहतर एक सपोर्ट सिस्टम मिल सके जिससे वो आगे बढ़ सके. जोया मैम, जैसा कि इंट्रोडक्शन में आपने कहा कि फर्स्ट फोटो जर्नलिस्ट है. हम लोग 21st सेंचुरी में है. अब जाके हम लोग देख पा रहे हैं कि एक फर्स्ट ट्रांसजेंडर फोटो जर्नलिस्ट है हमारे सामने. तो इतने साल क्यों लग गए? ये हमको विद इन द कम्युनिटी भी पूछने की जरूरत है कि हम लोगों ने अभी तक ऐसा सपोर्ट सिस्टम क्यों हम क्रिएट ना कर पाए. भले ही हो सकता है हमारे पास रिसोर्सेज की कमी हो, बट ऐसे लोग होंगे जिनके पास रिसोर्सेज हैं. क्यों हम इनडिफरेंट हो जाते हैं? बिकॉज वी कम फ्रॉम अ डिफरेंट क्लास. क्यों हम क्लास का जो बैरियर है उसको तोड़ नहीं पाते, और इवन कास्ट का जो बैरियर है उसको तोड़ नहीं पाते, या रिलीजन का बैरियर है उसको तोड़ नहीं पाते. इन सब लेयर्स को जितनी जल्दी हम समझ पाएंगे, जितनी जल्दी हम सॉल्व कर पाएंगे, उतनी जल्दी हम एक बेहतर कम्युनिटी बनाएंगे और कम्युनिटी का असली मतलब जो होता है उसको समझ पाएंगे.
Nitish sir, would you like to add anything to that?
No, I think Chitya's answer is more than enough for this.
All right. So the next question we have is, do you feel that sometimes because of the lack of awareness, that leads to some judgments within the community?
Yeah. So, Chityajit, would you like to go first?
So I the thing is, I believe that the most basic thing that we need to have as humans is empathy. If you have empathy, you don't need any kind of textbook knowledge or any kind of extra information to feel for another human being. That's the basic thing to do. So if you have that, you will understand the intricacies of gender identities and sexualities, even if you don't belong to that gender identity or sexuality. So it is based on ignorance, yes. It has to do, maybe, of course, it has to do with privilege as well. But to be human is something that I expect people to be. I hope people to be. And if they are not made, there is still time to amend our ways. अभी तो 377 की लड़ाई खत्म हो चुकी है, बट अभी हम लोगों को सोसाइटल जो नॉर्म्स है उससे लड़ने की जरूरत है, दैन कम्युनिटी के भीतर ही लड़ने की जरूरत है. तो इट इज बेटर टू बिल्ड अप दैट कम्युनिटी इटसेल्फ. अंदर ही अंदर हो सकता है डिसएग्रीमेंट्स होंगे, उसमें कोई वो नहीं है. डिसएग्रीमेंट्स होना डेमोक्रेसी इटसेल्फ के लिए एक हेल्दी चीज है. बट जब हम लोगों को एक आउटर फ्रंट देना है, उसमें हम लोग यूनाइटेड रहे. बात वो है. उसमें भी अगर हम लोग अलग अलग दिखेंगे, कोई भी डिवीजन हो, चाहे वो रिलीजन का हो, कास्ट का हो, या क्लास का हो, तब हम लोग कमजोर पड़ेंगे. और जितना हम कमजोर पड़ेंगे उतना क्वेयर मूवमेंट कमजोर पड़ता जाएगा, और उतना एक एक इंक्लूसिव सोसाइटी बनाने में हम फेल होते रहेंगे.
Okay, so इसमें what I feel is कि people are not that much aware because when you are out कि like yes I'm a gay person or if I'm a transgender person तो लोग क्या है उसको like discriminate करने लग जाते हैं उनको schools में या colleges में नहीं जाने देते हैं कि like no stay at home and this is your place like this is because that's because कि हमें क्या कहते हैं trans person ज़्यादा रोड पे ज़्यादा मिलेंगे एज कम्पेयर टू स्कूल्स एंड कॉलेजेस कि लोग उनके साथ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन करते हैं तो इस वजह से लोगों को अवेयरनेस ही नहीं है विद इन द कम्युनिटी ही लोगों को अवेयरनेस ही नहीं है कुछ ऐसे टर्म्स की फॉर एन एग्जाम्पल people correlate the terms gender fluid with the term transgender people don't know the difference between who is a transgender and who is a gender fluid person सेम ऐसी सब चीजें आई फील कि yes this is an issue and yes awareness lacks and that's how people like shame someone within the community and outside the community for the same. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for the informative answers. So that was the last question for this section. Now I hand over to Vichika to take on the discussion.
Yeah, so let's move on to our next discussion. We have with us Dr. Amrit Singh to talk about STD with regard to the LGBTQ community. So, sir, can you tell us a little about STDs and the concerns about it in the LGBTQ community?
So, STDs are basically sexually transmitted diseases. So, in any couple or in any sexual intercourse, these are diseases which can be transmitted. So, stigmatizing certain diseases to certain community it's not like correct. So, yeah, there are more prevalence of certain diseases which are more prevalent in LGBTQ community like HIV. So it mainly depend upon the pathophysiology of the disease rather than the sexual orientation of the patient. So that's it.
Yes, sir. So, is everybody equally prone to get affected by STDs, or is there any, based on gender or sexual orientation, is there any difference?
As I said, it mainly depends upon the personal choices like using protection and other general stuff. It doesn't like specify towards the certain community.
Okay. So, sir, it is said that monkeypox spreads only through gay or bisexual men. So, how much of it is actually true?
So it's just for like for relating to the community, just for destigmatizing that. So it's not a correct statement. It's a disease which transmitted by close contact. So it can be between any person. It's not specific to the members of the community.
Okay. And also regarding blood donation, it is said that gay and bisexual men cannot donate blood. Is it true?
So yeah, in the like 2017, there are guidelines of the government in which they consider men having sex with men (MSM) with the high risk candidates. So they don't specify their anything like they just specified yes, men having sex with men are under high risk. So I don't think that's right way to specify that. So there should have been some more guidelines about that. For being current state, yeah, it is not uh, able. Gay people are not able to donate blood.
Okay, okay. So you said that they face an increased risk for HIV, right? The members of the community. So how much of it is actually true? Like,
So yeah, we can't deny on the fact that there is no more risk in the community. So yeah, it it's basically the pathophysiology, like how this disease spreads, and that's why it's more like more prevalent in community. So yeah.
okay. So for my last question, what can we do to raise awareness about diseases like this, STDs and HIV, monkeypox, all of these?
So basic STD awareness programs can help in a lot. Like giving people basic knowledge about having protected sexual intercourse. And if most of these diseases are basically symptomless, so uh, there are some signs which can be educate people, like when they can visit their doctor, and which doctor to visit. I have seen some people, they don't even know which doctor to visit if they are having some symptoms. So basic general awareness is the basic key for their prevention.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Next, I would like to give the podium to Dia.
Okay, so moving on, we have a few questions on how the movie industry portrays the LGBTQ community, and I'd like to ask Mr. Chittajit and about these questions. So the first one is: do movies play an important role in the portrayal of the LGBTQ community to the rest of the world?
So, cinema, unlike every art form, is important because it is inspired from the society, but it also um, furthers a certain narrative to the society as well. So, it's a give and take relationship between the two. Uh, it can't be denied that there are ills in the society, but the more we use that ill as a comic relief in a movie, the more it is emboldened in a certain way. तो जितना हम अ, किसी भी समाज में कोई भी बुराई है, उसको बुराई ना दिखा के उसको एक मजाक के रूप में दिखाएंगे, उतना उसको और भी स्ट्रेंथ मिलता है, उसको और भी पावर मिलता है कि ये तो ठीक है करना, इसका तो मजाक ही उड़ाया जाना चाहिए। और यही क्वेयर कम्युनिटी के साथ हमेशा से हुआ। ऐसे मैं मूवीज का वैसे नाम नहीं लूंगा, बट अगर आपने बॉलीवुड में ऐसी कोई भी मूवी देखी हो, आपको हमेशा यही दिखेगा कि एक सर्टेन काइंड ऑफ फनी म्यूजिक का इस्तेमाल हुआ होगा बैकग्राउंड में, एक कम्युनिटी के ऊपर के व्यक्ति जो आ रहे हैं उनके साथ, या कोई इफेमिनेट पर्सन है, जैसे कोई पुरुष है जो थोड़ा सा ऐसा व्यवहार करते हैं जो कोट एंड कोट मैस्कुलिन नहीं है, तो उनके साथ अगर वो ऐसे किसी तरीके का म्यूजिक का इस्तेमाल करेंगे, बैकग्राउंड में लाफ्टर का इस्तेमाल करेंगे, उसको उनको सिर्फ एक कॉमिक की तरह दिखाएंगे, उनका ही मजाक उड़ेगा। इसी तरीके से होता आया है। एंड वन ऑफ द एक्सक्यूज जो आता है मूवी इंडस्ट्री से, वो है कि अरे हम लोगों ने ऐसे लोग भी देखे हैं। ऑफ कोर्स आपने देखा होगा, पर आपने ये भी देखा है कि उनको कैसे बुली किया गया है, उनका कैसे मजाक उड़ाया गया है, तो आपने भी वही किया अपनी मूवी में, तो ये कैसे सही हो गया? आपने उनको एक पोजीशन ऑफ स्ट्रेंथ देने की जगह आपने भी उनको नीचा ही दिखाया, तो आपका जो रीजनिंग है वो फिट नहीं बैठता है। लकीली, और इसीलिए बहुत जरूरी है कि क्वेयर कम्युनिटी के लोग आके खुद की कहानियां बताएं, तो आप बहुत ही संजीदा मूवीज मिल पाएंगी आपको। उसमें से मैं एक मूवी का जरूर नाम लेता हूं, हमेशा से लूंगा, वो है अलीगढ़। उसके राइटर क्वेयर हैं, और जिस इमोशन, जिस सटलिटी के साथ पूरी बातों को बताया गया है, वो इतना सुंदर है कि मुझे लगता नहीं है कि अगर कोई कम्युनिटी के बाहर कोई व्यक्ति हो तो वो ऐसा लिख भी पाते। तो जरूरी है कि जो ओन वॉइसेस की बात आती है, वो लिटरेचर में अभी आ रहा है और मूवीज में भी है। वेस्टर्न उसमें बहुत लकीली उसका ट्रेंड है। अनफॉर्चुनेटली हम अभी उस दौर में आ नहीं पाए हैं जहां पे हम लोग ये बात करें। तो जरूरी है उसको समझना कि क्यों जरूरी है कि जो लोग उस कम्युनिटी से आ रहे हैं वो लोग अपनी बातों को बताएं, क्योंकि वो एक ऐसा नजरिया देंगे जो आप नहीं समझ सकते, जो आपने सोचा ही नहीं है, क्योंकि आपने उसको जिया ही नहीं है। तो इसीलिए जरूरी है कि जितना हो सके हम क्वेयर लोगों को जगह दें, स्पेशली इन आर्ट, ताकि वो अपनी कहानियों को बता सके।
I would like to add here कि जैसे आर्ट इज नोन एज कला और कला ही क्रांति लाती है ऐसा कहा जाता है। तो हाँ, कला ही एक ऐसा माध्यम है जिससे बॉलीवुड से या मूवीज से हम एक चेंज ला सकते हैं या लोगों को एडुकेट कर सकते हैं कि हाँ, दिस इज द थिंग। और जैसे इन्होंने कहा कि लाइक अगर कोई कम्युनिटी से पर्सन आएगा तो वो ज्यादा अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन कर पाएगा। और जैसे जोया मैम थे, उन्होंने भी ये चीज बोली कि अगर एक ट्रांस पर्सन भी बहुत अच्छे एक्टर्स हैं, वो अगर आएंगे और वो अगर रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे कि दिस इज व्हाट लाइक दिस इज व्हाट LGBTQIA कम्युनिटी इज, ट्रांसजेंडर ऐसे नहीं होते, ऐसे होते हैं, वो इस चीज को करेंगे और वो एक सर्टेन स्पेसिफिक म्यूजिक प्ले कर देंगे। या अगर कोई गे पर्सन है तो वो बिल्कुल ऐसे लाइक बिल्कुल हवा में ऐसे वेव करता हुए ही चलता रहेगा। दिस इज नॉट अ फैक्ट। Just bring the LGBTQIA community members in the industry and they will show you what the LGBTQIA community is. अभी जैसे चित्याजीत ने एक मूवी का नाम लिया, अभी एक वैसी एक मूवी अभी आई है जिसने एक्चुअल में बहुत अच्छे अच्छे इश्यूज को रेज किया है, जो मैं हमेशा कोट करूंगा और करता हूं और करता रहूंगा। दैट इज बधाई दो। द आई थिंक एवरी heterosexual or homosexual, every human being in fact should watch that movie. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, moving on with our next question. Have you come across any movies या फिर web series or documentaries जो community को positive या फिर एक negative way में portray करता है? Can you explain on that?
तो मैंने जिस मूवी का नाम लिया, मैं अगेन उसी का ही नाम लूंगा। तो प्रोफेसर सिरस एक अलीगढ़ यूनिवर्सिटी में, अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी में प्रोफेसर हुआ करते थे। और जिस उनको उनके ही, अगर किसी को नहीं स्टोरी पता है तो प्लीज जरूर पता करिए उनके बारे में। और उनका क्या स्ट्रगल रहा। एक बेसिक चीज जो है, एक व्यक्ति अपने ही बेडरूम में क्या करेगा उसको लेके, उसका एक पब्लिक डिस्प्ले ना हो, उसको लेके उनका क्या जद्दोजहद है, जो एक सिविलाइज सोसाइटी में नहीं होना चाहिए, वो सभी को पता होना चाहिए। ये स्टोरी को जिस तरीके से अलीगढ़ में दिखाया गया है वो अलग ही डायमेंशन का है। अगर सीरीज में मैं आऊं तो एक एक सीरीज है जो इंडियन सिनारियो पे बेस्ड नहीं है, उसका नाम है पोज। नेटफ्लिक्स पे है, अगर कोई देखना चाहे तो जरूर देखें। बहुत सारी आपको समझ में आएगा कि भले ही कंट्रीज अलग अलग हैं, हाँ, पर जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं वो काइंड ऑफ सिमिलर है। और उनको कैसे डील करना चाहिए, क्यों सेंस ऑफ कम्युनिटी इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, फ्रेंडशिप इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, क्यों एक बॉन्डिंग विद इन द कम्युनिटी इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, वो आप उसको देख के समझ पाएंगे।
Yeah,
Thank you,
so
sir. Okay, you wanted to add something?
huh. So for the movies, again, I want to quote the same movie, that is Badai Do, a very good movie in which many of the issues raised in that movie, ki like adoption is there, same-sex marriage, why same-sex marriage is there, and many of them. वैसे और अगर मैं वेब सीरीज की बात करूं तो रोमिल एंड जुगल करके वेब सीरीज है, रोमिल एंड जुगल। I think everyone must watch that movie. In that movie, they actually portrayed how what is the role of the family for the LGBTQIA person, and the importance of self-acceptance. So yeah, that's my take on this.
Okay, moving on to the last question. How do you feel? What do you feel can be the changes made in cinemas? Like, what would you like to add your input? Being a part of the community, what do you feel the changes that, or a few key points the directors or producers should keep in mind while portraying the community?
सबसे पहले तो अगेन हायर मोर क्वेयर पीपल। जितना आप अलग अलग मार्जिनलाइज कम्युनिटी से लोगों को हायर करेंगे, आपको उतने अलग अलग तरीके के दृष्टिकोण, व्यू ऑफ पॉइंट ऑफ व्यूज मिलेंगे, और आप और भी बेहतर तरीके से सिनेमा या आर्ट क्रिएट कर पाएंगे। इसके अलावा जो एक चीज को ध्यान में रखने की जरूरत है, जो होता आया है अभी भी रिसेंटली भी देखने को मिला है, वो है क्वेयर कम्युनिटी से कोई है एक व्यक्ति है तो वो या तो कॉमिक होगा या फिर वो एकदम नेगेटिव विलन रोल में होगा। रिसेंटली गंगूबाई जो मूवी आई थी, अननेसेसरी उन जो क्वेयर एक ट्रांसजेंडर पर्सन को दिखाया गया है एक नेगेटिव रोल दिखाने के लिए, जो अननेसेसरली विलन है। कोई रीजन नहीं है उनके विलन होने का, बट उनको वो विलन है। और जहां तक मुझे पता है एक्चुअल इन रियलिटी ऐसा कोई कैरेक्टर भी नहीं था। तो आपको मिला इन दी एंड एक विलन क्रिएट करने के लिए, तो आपने एक ट्रांसजेंडर व्यक्ति को दिखाने का ही चुना, और आपने एक ट्रांसजेंडर व्यक्ति को भी एक्टिंग के लिए नहीं दिया। तो मतलब कहते हैं ना कि करेला ऊपर से नीम चढ़ा, आपने तो एक के बाद एक गलतियां की इसके ऊपर। तो इवन मेन स्ट्रीम मूवीज में बहुत जरूरी है रिफॉर्म्स लाने की, बहुत जरूरी है सोच में बदलाव लाने की। और ऐसा नहीं है कि सिनेमा या में क्वेयर कम्युनिटी के लोग नहीं है, बहुत हैं, बहुत सारे लोग हैं, पर उनको वो जगह दीजिए, उनको वो स्पेस दीजिए अपना जो क्रिएटिविटी है उसको दिखाने का, तो हम लोग और भी बेहतर आर्ट देख पाएंगे।
Nitish, do you want to add anything on that?
No, I think this is more than enough.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. I find a lot of people in the community acting extremely entitled and rude when they're called with the wrong pronouns and other stuff like that. That could come out as disrespectful. Do we also need to be more mindful at times in situations like this? I personally feel that it's extremely new to people who don't identify in the community, and sometimes people in the community need to be more understanding and give them the time to change, because it's definitely a big change. So, what's your opinion on that?
Pronouns are simple words, okay? He, she, they. There are pronouns which are also people use ze, zer, uh, and I don't think that they are too difficult to understand or grasp. Uh, it is easy to to speak wrongly about someone's pronoun. It is, and I believe that a slip of tongue might happen, but in the start you said that people act entitled when they are called with the wrong pronoun, and when the question ends it says that why can't they be more understanding. So I am a little bit confused that who is more entitled in this, the person who actually committed something that is something wrong and is asking that a person who has been wronged to be more understanding than a person to just say sorry and correct it and just move on. So we need to change our perspective when it comes to things like these. We think that because it is something that is new to us, hence the other person needs to be more accommodating. We It might be just words for even for me, because I identify with the pronouns and the gender that I was born with. But for people who have struggled for a long time to find that identity, to be to someone misgendering them or using wrong pronouns is a question on their identity itself. So we need to take a step back and understand the whole situation that that person has gone through, to accept themselves as who they are and come to that conclusion. So हाँ, मुश्किल है, मैं ये मानने के लिए तैयार हूं कि हो सकता है कि समझ में ना आ रहा, बट कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि इंस्टेड ऑफ फीलिंग अटैक्ड, गलती हुई है मानिए, सॉरी बोलिए, सही करिए बात को, आगे बढ़िए, फुल स्टॉप। उसके उससे ज्यादा कुछ करना नहीं है इसमें।
Okay, thank you so much for answering the questions. Now I'll call upon Rana for the next segment.
So now we have a few questions from the audience. So the first question we have is, so we've come to a point where we have to be so vocal about something as normal as our gender identity or something as personal as our sexual orientation. So do you think that it's good to have come to a level to be so vocal about this, or would you have liked a world where we didn't need to even mention it and it was something natural?
So I believe the final aim is to reach that place. But to reach that place, we have to go through this process of identifying and understanding these identities, and then we can reach to that understanding that yes, such kind of differences are there within our society, and it's it just is. There is nothing normal or abnormal about it. It's just is, and move on with it. That is, I believe, the final aim. Why such terms are important is because it helps with the visibility of such people and understanding that such people exist. So, for example, and I'm giving an example which is not related to this. Uh, there is a murder case. The IPC that is applied to is 302. But if the intention behind that murder was that the person belongs to a Dalit community, you will also have the SC/ST Act along with 302. So we need to understand the intricacies between these things. We need to understand that there are several layers to such things. Hence, to reach to that place where we don't need such terms, we need to first accept and understand these, that the existence of these identities.
Thank you. We have the next question. I think it's for Nitish. What has been the most enlightening part of accepting yourself?
Okay, so after accepting myself, what I feel is कि कोई और मतलब कोई और मेरे को एक्सेप्ट करे ना करे, पहले मैंने तो खुद को एक्सेप्ट कर लिया. दैट्स माय प्राउड मोमेंट कि हाँ, दिस इज हु आई एम एंड आई एम प्राउड ऑफ माई सेल्फ. तो इससे आई फील लाइक कि yes, this is who I am. Now let people bark, sorry for the word, but still, let people bark whatever they want to. This is who I am and I am proud of myself. So yeah, this is the most best part. I feel like yes, uh yes, this is something which I did for myself. Yeah,
That's
thank
really
you.
great to know. So thank you for sharing that. Now the next question the audience has is to Chitajit sir. So how to educate our elders about the LGBTQ community and that loving someone from the same sex is also very natural.
So there are people who don't even know that people, that a queer community even exists. So there are such kind of people, and then there are people who know that these kind of people exist and are actively ignoring them or being phobic. Uh, what I have learned through all these years is the process itself is not a one day thing. It will take time. So try to introduce them to movies or um, even videos of some songs which will convey the message, and it will also be of the same wavelength that they understand it. It is also important कि उनको जो भी बताया जाए वो उनके लैंग्वेज के अनुसार उनको समझ में आए, ऐसा हाई फाई कुछ ना हो जो उनके सर के ऊपर से चला जाए. So it is important to understand that they are from a different time. So we need to educate them accordingly. Use information that they will easily understand than maybe making it more complex than it should be. So it will be a slow process, that I can say. Uh, there are, fortunately, there are people who understand instantaneously. That is a good thing, because they might not understand what it is, but they understand that ultimately it is a human being and they need to respect that human being. But even if they don't instantaneously, give them time, uh, give them the opportunity to learn. And if they don't, uh, I would ask the queer people to care about their mental health and their safety first before uh, putting themselves into danger or um, doing something that would harm them.
Okay, thank you for your answer. We have the next question. It says, how to find if someone is demisexual? Anyone?
So, sexuality again is a very personal thing. You don't find someone's sexuality. You need to give them the space, and if they are comfortable with sharing that information with you, they will, or they might not. That is up to them. So, if it is about you, uh, take some time to understand yourself. Okay? Uh, you know the term, so you know what it means. You know that it comes under the spectrum of asexuality. So, what you need to understand is whether you have feelings for someone at some time, or you are either sexually attracted towards them or not. There are multiple questions at play here. You need to understand the intricacies of it and then decide it for yourself, or just not have that label. That is also up to you. Everything with respect to your identity is up to you. You can decide whatever sexuality or gender you want to be in. That is something uh, as basic as it gets.
All right. So the next question we have is, how is the LGBTQI plus community growing in rural and non-metropolitan places in India?
Okay. So for this, I think in the in the metropolitan city, people are far like much aware about the community and the for these things than non-metropolitan place or a rural place, LGBT community suffers a lot in the non in the rural areas or in the remote areas. For an example, if I talk about myself, I come from a place where still gay is considered as a taboo. So उस time when I was accepting myself, all my friends used to make fun of me. Like they don't know the reality, but just because of my actions, because of my gestures, they used to make fun of me कि हाँ he must be a gay. तो हाँ, तो वहाँ पे there is a taboo, and that's why what I feel is they are more in the closet, they are suffering a lot, and they are more in the struggling part than for a rural than for a urban area sort of thing. So yeah, Chityajit, you want to say on this?
So it is a common trend that people from the queer community living in rural areas aspire to go towards cities that are quote unquote more developed because they believe that it will give them some sense of security. Also, uh, it might, for example, we work in Allahabad. It's a non metropolitan city as well, it's a non metro city. And I wouldn't say that there are no problems or we have solved it all, but the basic idea that we are have been trying to do in the city is to create a community. And the more and more we talk to people, more and more we talk to people coming from rural areas to the city, is how we understand that uh, they are basically running uh, for safety, to be themselves. And a lot work needs to be done uh, in the rural spaces as well as the tier 2 tier 3 cities. Unfortunately, it is the work of the government to do so. The 377 judgment explicitly tells us about that. One of the judges, and if I'm not wrong, I think the then Chief Justice of India, Deepak Mishra, actually said that we need to make this judgment reach to every nook and corner of the country. But we haven't seen any step whatsoever to make people understand the uh, existence of such people. But also there is another thing that needs to be mentioned is in rural areas, it is not that people don't know the existence of queer communities. They don't know the terms. That's it. They know the existence of queer people. Okay. So you will find people talking about uh, two men uh, having with basically being with each other from time to time, but uh, it will be in a form of gossip, but uh, they might not have the word for it, the term for it. So that's when the slangs come in. And the same goes for women as well. A friend of mine made this beautiful short movie on uh, the auto drivers of Kutch, and in that is a trans man, and he comes from a extremely poor rural background, and the way he has carried himself, the way he has asserted his identity.
You're on mute, I think, Chityajit.
The actually the it says the host has muted you. So the people in the end accepted him as he is. They didn't bothered or even dared to question his identity, because in the end he was living for himself and making money. So a lot of things need to be done, yes, and there are people trying to do such things, but yes, if they had the support of the governments as well, much more could have been done.
All right, thank you so much for that answer, both Nitish sir and Chitajit sir. So now we move on to the next section. We have a song which will be playing, and we request everybody to hold up your pride flags.
अपनी ये दुनिया उतनी हंसी है जितने हंसी हम हैं। जहाँ पे भी तू है, जहाँ पे सुकून है, अब तो वही हम हैं। दिल का रास्ता प्यार से भरा, अपना काफिला प्यार से चला, उड़ रहे हैं, खुल गए हैं, रूह में ही खुल गए। हम रंग है हर रोशनी के संग है, हम संग है। हम रंग है हर रोशनी के संग है, हम संग है। एक रंग तुम लाओ तो एक हम लाएंगे, एक रंग नदिया से एक सुबह से उठाएंगे। एक रंग मीठा होगा, एक थोड़ा चटखारा, एक रंग चंदा होगा, एक टूटा सा तारा। जितने हंसी हम हैं। ओ, जहाँ पे भी तू है, जहाँ पे सुकून है, अब तो वही हम हैं। जहाँ पे भी तू है, जहाँ पे सुकून है, अब तो वही
Okay, with this, I think we come to the end of today's event. I'm Madhura Patil, Vice President of GirlUp Ahsaas. I would like to end it by thanking all of our panelists for sharing all your time. Also, I'd like to thank all the collaborators, GirlUp Jabalpur, GirlUp Mukti, GirlUp Bengaluru, GirlUp Alpha, GirlUp Ruhi, and GirlUp J&K, and the Theraahatproject. I would also like to thank our audience for such a wonderful response, and make sure you all fill the feedback form and let us know your experience. And I hope to see you all with all the same energy for tomorrow's event as well. Also, make sure to follow us on all our social medias, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere. The links are provided. So make sure you follow us. And with this, we sign off and wish you all a very happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride, everyone. And
Happy
thank you
Pride,
so much,
everyone.
Girlup Ahsaas,
Happy
for this.